Welcome to Blink 155,
the final episode
God
of,
damn it, no.
of the final episode of Blink 155.
Yeah.
We thought that this day would never come.
It's very
and
emotional
it's
for
here,
both of us.
and we got
I've learned so much about myself and about you.
yeah.
No, this is the only Blink 182 podcast on the air. I'm adjusting my gain's been all screwy. So this is the only Blink 182 podcast.
It was a little quiet last week. I had to manually turn up the gain on the EQ.
I'm fixing it in real time. There we go. Okay.
Well, hey, we'll finally get it right just in time for the final episode of the show.
Just finally figuring our shit out. Of course, this is the only Blink 182 podcast online, perpetually experiencing its last episode. It's very Groundhog Day-esque, or if you will, Palm Springs-esque, the new comedy starring the funny woman whose name I forget and Andy Samberg.
The funny woman.
She's quite funny.
I forget. Wow.
She had, not a lot to do in Wolf of Wall Street, but I feel like she did a lot with it. And then I watched an episode of the Mythic Quest show that she stars in. She's a delight.
Wait, she's in that show?
Yeah, she's in like the kind of standalone episode.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Blink 155, the only fan podcast for Mythic Quest Ravens Banquet.
I feel like I love Lonely Island and Andy Samberg. I feel like a Lonely Island Groundhog Day movie seems awful to me.
It's not what you
want. It just seems
from
like
them?
such a punishment.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch it, but I feel like I'm going to be mad the whole time. It feels like a cousin movie to me, which I think is a concept that I've briefly discussed before and do not have the mental capacity to get into.
Okay, I was going to ask for a refresher, but maybe it's for the best that we just cruise right past this. Speaking of cruising...
My temperature has gone up 0.5 Celsius since I started speaking to you.
That's the heat that we generate together, Josiah.
It's the friction that we are rubbing up against one another's egos. Speaking of cruising, Sam.
Yeah, we're always perpetually cruising each other. No, I want to talk about the cruising you've been doing, Josiah, on your new skateboard.
Oh, yeah. I haven't talked about that on the pod. I did get a new skateboard.
Yeah, so finally, 3 years into a podcast about what is ostensibly a skate punk band, you've made the leap. Was it quarantine that forced you?
I'm the first skateboarder on the show, I think. We haven't had any skaters on yet.
That seems possible. We really don't talk much about skateboarding on this.
or Blink-182 or... that's the other thing I haven't talked about on here is we did get a
Blink-182.
We did get a new review.
Oh, did we?
On iTunes.
Is it about...
I did tweet. If you follow us on Twitter, you've seen it. But, yeah, no, I did get a skateboard. I'm really... Even since I landed an ollie at my garage sale last year.
Oh, a big
in the
moment.
Year since then.
We talked about that. I remember that. That was... The whole nation was united in celebration.
I've gotten extremely worse and extremely more terrified.
Oh.
And I'm just kind of, like, skating around... Montreal after dark only because I'm so embarrassed, but I'm still being lapped by children on razor scooters at all hours, and it's just really like I can tell that it's embarrassing because every time I post a video of my skateboard on my Instagram story, everyone will reply and say, "This is so inspiring."
Oh no, you don't want that.
Yeah, it's not good. It's definitely not a good thing to be inspiring at this point in my life, but I'll take it. I'm kind of like a Make-A-Wish.
You are. There's like no good way to
true.
take that, but I think everyone's thinking the same thing.
This is our new review here from iTunes, from NXPX Fan 182. It's a 5-star review, which I think is the most important thing. It has bumped us back to being 5 stars in general. But the review reads, some good information, but would be good to have more expertise about Blink-182. The hosts seem nice, but are not Blink-182 experts, in my opinion. Still good to listen with other Blink-182 review podcasts that have more information and expertise about the songs. I like the idea of someone's entire life being dedicated to just like having the most well-rounded understanding of Blink-182 information.
They want to know about the rock show. Like, they're not content with sort of a surface level understanding of the Blink-182 discography. They insist on going deep, and I respect that.
It's like those people who subscribe to every newspaper to get
all the angles, all the sides to every story.
You gotta hear all the sides, and we're only one side, and that's true. No matter
hear all sides.
No matter what we do, we can't fight our bias about Blink-182.
That's true. This is, you know what's funny is, this initially seems kind of like a trolling review, but I actually think it's sort of sincere. This person enjoys the pod.
I think it's completely sincere.
I just want to say thank you, NXPX Fan 182. This is like an incredibly fair assessment of the pod. And
I want to say, go fuck yourself, piece of shit.
We don't need to play up the dichotomy between us that much anymore. It's over.
It's true. The dichotomy is gone. We're exactly the same.
We've merged. Because, I've only ever been on a skateboard at night also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I was in Etobicoke and I had my Nash with plastic trucks, I would exclusively skate after dark because I was, of course, incredibly embarrassed, as I should have been. Because I never even landed an ollie at a garage sale.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing, but it's also inspiring. So that's good. To know
maybe
that
you've inspired me to get back on
so
my Nash.
Many ancient losers to do something with their lives.
Take your brittle bones out into the mean streets of Montreal.
Do you feel old? Like, I feel like even sort of since this podcast has started, I'm thinking about the number of my age. I'm not doing an intro for the song title right now. I don't know about what I'm going to do with that, but I do feel like when I think of the actual number, I'm like, good God.
Yeah, the numeric value of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel old, all the time. I mean, my body is falling apart. You have problems you didn't have. It's awful. And for sure, also, if you're measuring it against the start of the pod versus now, like, looking at
being that it is our final episode.
Of course, that this is an easy way to mark time. I mean, I'm much grayer. Things are changing for me. Or why are you thinking about your age so much? Is it because of the skateboarding?
Yeah, because people are so inspired that I'm skateboarding.
Right, at your advanced age.
And I'm noticing since the start of the pod too, like the start of the pod felt like Blink-182 was kind of like at the peak of the zeitgeist. And now that the Zoomers have risen, they kind of like, I feel like they're not even aware of Blink-182 at all. Like someone of their age group is going to start like an ironic Tame Impala podcast or something.
Right. So you're saying that the kids who are coming up behind you are really like spooking you too.
Exactly. Do you want to talk about you're about to be cruising as well? I thought that's where you were going with this.
No, I mean that was no one cares. People care about your skateboarding. This is
I thought you were setting it up.
No, imagine I was like that. I don't even think we should acknowledge what it is. Actually, I think we should just leave.
Sam was busted for cruising.
That's it.
If you know what I mean.
I was just like looking for activities that are possible during quarantine, and I was like, maybe cruising is for me. It turns out it is. However,
what does that even mean? Actually, cruising in terms of that word, the alternate.
Are you
meaning,
looking up the Urban Dictionary definition of cruising?
Yeah,
I feel like all I know about cruising, I know from like Bruce LaBruce directed music videos,
Oh yeah, trying to pick up someone for anonymous gay male sex. Yeah. And that I'm just skateboarding when I'm cruising. Just so you know.
And I'm just gonna like leave it up to people to kind of wonder exactly what my cruising entails. No, let's not be coy about it. I made the leap. Of course, we're all stuck inside. I purchased an arcade cabinet for the game. He's on his way. An arcade cabinet of the classic racing game Cruisin' USA.
Which is actually has a double meaning as well.
It's true. What was your favorite arcade game?
I just want you to know that I'm so fucking soaking wet right now. This is the hottest I've ever been on the pod. Like my back is it feels like a puddle right now.
You started calling this Ego Death Night because for full context, it's fairly early in the day right now. You and I are doing this episode, and then we're going to record like a 4-hour exclusive.
I'm dropping it all tonight too.
And
it's all coming out.
So everyone's going to be able to, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you will.
It actually is on the Patreon. It is an actual final episode of something.
Oh, that's true.
Happening.
Yeah, that is not. Wait, hold on. So are you acknowledging? This is important. Are you? Because you have had. It seems like everyone close to you in your life simply begging you to stop. Insisting that every episode of Blink-155 is the final one. Also because we end up getting these very kind messages from previous guests, saying like, congrats. And I feel like we're tricking people who care about us. Like I'm not.
That strange tension and feeling of like doing a bit and someone not realizing it's a bit and saying something nice. And then there's this uncomfortable kind of like all the oxygen gets sucked out of the room. That's my favorite feeling on earth.
I know.
I love it so much.
I realize that. I realize there's nothing that like Sarah or I can say to make you stop.
I very rarely follow up on them, but I did have to like console somebody that I know sort of as a acquaintance because I was defending Jeff Bezos on my Twitter and they like fucking lost it on me and blocked me on all social media platforms.
Wait, like a real, like an in real life friend of yours thought that
somebody not
Bezos tweets. Because what were they? They were like, Jeff Bezos is actually a really good dude. Like what you were?
Yeah, like I don't know what it was. I don't remember. I don't know what I'm tweeting ever. But that's the thing. Like I kind of just know him like we were in a wedding party together. I've talked to him in real life like twice, but I kind of know him. And he got so angry at me that I thought he was actually doing a bit. And I was like, damn, this guy's a lot funnier than I realized. He said something like, I hope you like choke to death gargling billionaire semen or something.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
It was so intense that I just kind of faved it and moved on. And then a couple of days later, I realized he had blocked me on everything. And I was like, maybe I should probably explain that I was joking.
I'll be honest, that doesn't really seem like a person that you should reach out to.
It's true. Well, he just hates Jeff Bezos. I mean, gotta hand it to him, I guess.
Sure, but like also not a unique position. Like no one likes Jeff Bezos.
I do.
Right, yeah. But also, like, how is this person able to, like, sustain... Like, why do you want to sustain a friendship with someone that you have to be by the way, it's not the last episode. By the way...
Well, like, I just know that someone someday is going to, like, come to my home with a sawed-off shotgun because they actually really love vinyls or something. Like, it's, like, going to happen one way or another. So I'm trying to at least be aware of where the cards are falling right now.
The really, like, sort of moving, inquisitive HBO documentary films about your murder that's really about sort of not like trolling, not like any like Violent Acres or any like really big famous trolls, but just about like the sort of casualties of like irony trolling is going to be honestly fascinating.
I think it's going to be good. I hope that it's not too broad. Like I really liked the McDonald's Monopoly doc, but I know a lot of people complained because it was too broad. I kind of had the Super Size Me feel, the zaniness, and I'm hoping that. But I also don't want the doc about my internet-related irony murder to also be too dramatic either. I think it's going to be hard to strike the right tone, but I think that. Someone will be able to. I mean, I assume you're going to be an exec producer on it, so hopefully you can help.
I'll be a consultant. Don't get me wrong. I fully intend on cashing in on your death.
All right, as you should.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been a big part of it, and so that's why whenever some really nice guy named like Jeff or something who's been on the pod before, when they DM and say, "Hey man, congrats on the final episode. I'm really proud of you guys. You've done something really special. I'm sorry I haven't kept up on it, but I'm proud of you." That discomfort that you're feeling will be worth it when you're accepting an Emmy for the series about my dad.
Yeah, I mean, like this is what I'm investing, and we are obviously assuming that you're going to go first in an irony-related murder, but of course we have to accept the possibility that I would die first. And I just want to say I do not feel the same. Please do not let me die peacefully. Let me.
So you don't want to dock at all?
No, let me slip away. I guess what's the doc you're going to make?
The doc about you. Yeah, that's true.
What did I do? Huh? You got murdered for posting.
It's true. And you just got killed because you won't make any more of This Exists.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that's just too grim. I mean, there's nothing to learn from that.
I think, I was looking at the calendar and I was thinking, this is what we'll do for the intro. This is coming out on July 10th, which means that for the month of July, there are currently still only 21 days.
Wow.
It's just facts. You can just set your alarm to this podcast now.
I'm so glad that you pivoted into this being a truly factual endeavor. Thank God.
We're coming up on 16 minutes into the podcast for everyone. We'll play a tone when you reach the...
Josiah, the song 21 Days by the band Blink-182. What do you think about it?
Can't remember it at all.
Yeah. Right before we started, you're like, the song is actually 4 minutes long? I mean, wait, do you need to play it now?
We've already played it, but it's somewhere in here. Oh. But I kind of put it on and left the room because it's too fucking hot in here.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it had like a very kind of emo feel to it. It kind of fits with Cacophony or something.
It does feel like Cacophony. The opening sounds a lot like Peaches. Like it has that like before it starts to feel kind of like old school emo. Yeah. There's this like noodly bass, like summery, like the song is kind of just swirling in space and coming together. And it really, for a second, I was like, have we done this song? Was actually my first reaction because it felt so familiar, even though I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't know the song at all. And then I realized I was thinking of the Presidents of the United States of America. I feel still like a terminally underrated band.
Are they good though?
They are.
They're
fucking great.
Or is only Gump by Weird Al good?
Okay,
maybe.
So Dune Buggy, Kitty. I mean, like it keeps going with other songs by them. Of course, Peaches.
Probably are they still around and like playing really depressing county fairs, or does one of them write for a Netflix young adult show?
Well, this was not intentional. The main guy, the guy who played the gut bass, I believe, as opposed to the bass guitar or whatever it was, because they were all they played like it was like a 3-string guitar and a 2-string bass or something like that.
So annoying.
So just listen, the 90s were wacky, and they were Gen Xers, so hard to really blame them. But maybe a year ago, I was checking my LinkedIn. Do you have LinkedIn?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know that you and I are connected. We should connect.
Really? Will you endorse me? Are you the kind of guy who like shares articles on there, like writes articles?
No. Mercifully, like I appreciate you asking skeptically, like maybe afraid of the answer. I'm not going to God, LinkedIn is like the worst website in the world, but feels like there's sort of a professional necessity in having it. Anyway, and I do obviously check like who's viewed your profile, and it was like a guy whose name.
How do I even tell if we're connected? I see you here. I can message you. I think we're connected. Yeah, we're connected.
Oh, that's good.
You need a new banner image. You got the default banner image.
So do you.
It's no good. Well, yeah, but I'm not obviously doing anything with you. Well, look at all these endorsements you have from people.
Yeah, well, I mean, at one point I was definitely trying to use LinkedIn to get work. So listen, I'm not proud, but the website does its job from time to time.
Your interests on here are.
Oh fuck! I don't want to hear it. No, this is not. No, don't. That's too much, man.
Sam's
I don't
really
know. I don't even know what you were going to say,
week.
but I don't.
Every conversational turn I take, you shut me down.
I'm not even. I'm like no knowing you. It's not even no and. I'm sorry. And so I'm checking my who's checking me slot, on the LI, and I'm like, why do I recognize this name? And then I realize it's the like main guy from the presidents of the United States of America, who
Donald J. Trump.
yeah, my main man. And he works and has worked basically like since the beginning, because they were from Seattle, I believe, if they were just like somewhere in the area on the West Coast, and he works for Amazon. Like he's a high up exec at Amazon. So that guy loves Jeff Bezos.
There you go. See, I'm not alone.
So it turns
that's just the Gen X in me, is to love Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or maybe it was like the quiet Presidents of the United States of America fan. To be totally honest, like I think you would love that first record, because it is like very effective, stripped down, like pop songwriting.
Yeah, I think I probably would too, but I mean, who cares?
Feather plucking, boll weevil. Oh, come on. Back porch.
They're kind of like, they have like the same zaniness as Primus, and like I'm not going to go down that path in my life, you know.
But here's the thing, like Primus for all
or like Green Jello or something.
Okay,
like all
but
these,
those
like,
are more like you're getting into like Mr. Bungle territory, which is a territory that I respect and have no interest in being in, unfortunately. The presidents were like that fine. There's like the wacky element, but instead of like wacky virtuosic performances, it's like wacky, like minimal effort songs, which I do feel like, to me, that says Josiah. Wacky,
that's
minimal
true.
effort.
I think in my life I like to be the wacky, annoying guy listening to really serious, pretentious music. I don't want the music to reflect my own wackiness, so to speak.
I understand that. Well, listen, they listen. How could you not love this band? They performed at Bill Clinton's like inauguration. Look at they did endorse Bernard Sanders. So.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So they're not. It's not all bad.
I'm trying to see if I can make I'm rubbing all the sweat all over my body because it's so it's like an inch of sweat. I'm trying to see if I can get it to make kind of a squelching sound into the mic, like Matmos or something, but it's not working.
Hold on here. Let me see if I can. Hold on. I'm gonna try to. 1 second. I'm trying to get my chest cavity to fart. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty good. I've never been this sweaty before.
This is literally the least comfortable I've ever been
yet.
in my entire life. Like
my fingers are raisening right now. Actually,
yeah,
my raisins are fingering right now.
It's an impressive evolution. I mean, look at life's hot, but this is the first time. Well, I guess you've worked from home for a long time. This is the first time I've had to just be home, and there's no movie theaters to go to escape. There's nothing. It's just pure heat, baby. Pure.
We're just all counting down the days till the Snyder Cut is released, so we can all escape.
Do you think we're gonna get that in Canada? Because that's my concern. Having of course done my part.
What is HBO Max going to go to CBC Gem or something?
Yeah, of course, right? I got this LinkedIn tab open.
What if we just don't talk about the song at all this week?
Listen, if I can use this, maybe we should listen to some President songs. I feel like it's one of those things where you missed out not buying that at a flea market in grade 5. Because
I liked Gump a lot by Weird Al.
Gump is that's an all timer. What's your favorite Weird Al album?
It's Bad Hair Day for sure. Although Greatest Hits, I think, was at Volume 2. That was a huge one for me too.
Didn't you do it? You did a pod or something where you talked about your favorite Weird Al song, and it was.
I think. Oh, it was.
It?
Oh fuck, that was.
Everything You Know Is Wrong. Everything You Know Is Wrong, right?
Yeah. Which, again, that probably is what Ween sounds like, and I don't want to listen to Ween because it seems too silly.
Ween's
I'll let Weird Al
yeah.
be silly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd rather listen to, I want to be the goofball, not the musician. They have a job to do, too.
I love the idea.
Cool.
I want to be the goofiest guy listening to the most serious music. It's a very accurate way of, I think, describing how you've navigated your life from a taste standpoint. And why you have a Blink-182 podcast, I'm sure.
Because they're so serious. This song is serious, and it does sound like the presidents of the United States of America. I'm a big fan, and I know all their tunes.
Yeah. So it's not quite that, but then it does, it hits that same, cacophony, old school emo, which, it's obviously for the best that the band didn't, keep that up, because I think it would really date them in a way that
it really doesn't sound like a Blink song at all.
No.
And also, I thought it doesn't sound like Scott drumming either. It sounds like they got some other drummer to be something of also the like dynamics of it. Even though it sounds like old school emo, it also goes into like Bush X territory a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, I always feel like with these early songs, it's like people sort of, when you're trying to kind of find your footing, like sometimes like there's such a fine line between like just these arbitrary kind of genres, and a thing can very quickly veer. I mean, I think I joked about this like a long time ago, but like listening to Gaslight Anthem, 59 sound for the first time, and like Ashley being like, this just sounds like a bad Killer song, and you're like, oh yeah, like you can make this leap from like emotive anthemic punk into just like radio rock very easily. And so,
well, Ashley's wrong because there are no bad Killer songs, but otherwise,
shout out. I don't think did we talk about it on the comp or on the comp? Did we talk about it on the pod, the Killers comp?
No, Tim, aka Bruce.
I was going to be like Bruce, yeah, but okay. Tim Bruce.
He did a Killers compilation for Black Lives Matter bail funds, and a bunch of people from Blink 155 Nation are on it, including me and including Gotti,
yeah,
aka Sarah. But a whole bunch of people are on it, and so you can check that out at spicechateau.com.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's so good. There's just like so many comps now. It's like the comp. That's the COVID move, is to release a comp now. There's more coming. Comp vid.
I'm so sorry.
This is a bad episode.
It's hot.
It's now. I've gone up another 0.5. It's 33.5 degrees Celsius in here right now.
And we're going to be doing this for like 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take a break and eat dinner and have a shower and then instantly get drenched
so
again.
Wet.
Like when I put my hand on my desk, I see like a puddle shaped like my hand. It's so fucked.
I just
right
feel
now.
like I haven't been dry in a long time. Like I'm
so wet.
I'm like I'm literally fantasizing about like what it would be like to have like dry palms.
Yeah, it's fucked.
And also to like even to be able to like glancingly touch my wife without both of us being like, this is disgusting. it's everything is
like that.
just
so poetic.
awful. Yeah,
Glancingly touch is beautiful. Let's talk about these lyrics because there's maybe something here. I don't know.
Let's glancingly touch on them.
Let's just glancingly touch them.
We got to do the bare minimum as NXPX 182 has so adequately.
Yeah. So 21 Days is a song by Blink 182.
Establish that. Okay, fact 1. Fact 2. These are the lyrics.
These are the lyrics. My mind wanders as I'm trying not to fall in love with you.
Yeah, man. I remember writing these lyrics.
Because every time I wake, I just realized, what if my neighbors hear me projecting doing this like open mic? I ponder on my mistakes of what I said. It is always my esteem that I sure lose, playing those stupid games as I always end up chasing you. You can turn anything into like slam poetry.
You just got to vibe it out. Now, Josiah, have you ever tried not to fall in love with someone? Have you ever fallen in love with someone? You shouldn't have fallen in love with,
I've been trying not to fall in love with someone for the entire duration of this podcast.
Wow.
And I've failed, my friend.
Who's that?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Chat it to me. The nation doesn't have to know.
It's you fool.
Oh, shit. That's cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's hear. Now you do the chorus, but do slam poetry style.
I can't help myself anymore. Rehearsing my thoughts as I'm scared to come to your door. I push it all aside just to stand next to you. Now you won't talk to me for something I didn't do. I'm not gonna work.
It's not gonna work, but
I was just thinking about how I'm not. Fuck. Sorry.
Do you remember? Like, did you ever get into Saul Williams? I feel like there was like a moment.
Of course, I got into Saul Williams.
I was like, am I the only person who had this like weird Saul Williams phase where I like watched a movie about slam poetry for some reason?
Yeah, I owned a Saul Williams like CD.
I think, and he was on like a Black Alicious song, and then he was on the College Dropout, and I was like, damn, this guy's so cool. And like, he probably is cool, but also I don't need that in my life.
I think just like
spoken word.
When you're young, it's like those that you haven't figured out which of the things that older people think are cool, you also think are cool.
Yeah, you just kind of go for them all.
Yeah, like I mean, I got nothing against poetry, but like definitely when I was younger, I was like, poetry is cool and good, and I like it. And then eventually, I was like, I don't think I feel that way. But like,
I honestly think that poetry is kind of having a little bit of a moment again. It's like creeping up into being cool again, and I've just noticed that with people I know, and possibly foreshadowing the future of this podcast as well. But I have noticed poetry seems to be having a bit of a moment, but it's something specifically about the delivery of slam poetry that is like, I'm sure there's great slam poetry, but it's just so hard to do.
I watched that movie Bodied about battle rap, and I think I've gone to like one King of the Dot thing, and I sort of feel like battle rap kind of took the juice out of slam poetry, because it was like, what if slam poetry but homophobic? And so if you're like kind of cool, like you look at one and everyone is dorky, and you look at the other and everyone is homophobic or whatever, and you know.
Yeah, poetry went the way of poetry. The new version of slam poetry is roast battle.
Yeah,
it's Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross is the poet laureate of America. It's true.
Okay, so that's the verse and the chorus, and then there's a bridge. And I'm trying not to think of you. I'm all confused as I think of the things that I would do. I'm all shook up as I get all nervous inside. My emotions are something that I will always hide. My ways.
Oh.
Ending with my ways is actually pretty cool.
That is cool. I also love the way you said shook. Like
Did I say it weird?
I know. I felt.
You felt shook?
Shook myself. Like you were able to sort of really telegraph that emotion quite effectively. So yeah.
Every time you click a Genius annotation of any lyric, it just says that it's about a girl. So that's what the song appears to be about.
I mean, do you remember, like, I think when I first, like, started hearing slam poetry, I was definitely like, when I am old enough, I'm going to attend slam poetry events.
Attend or attempt?
Attend.
Okay.
Probably attempt, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen the Saul Williams slam poetry movie?
No, I don't think so.
What's it? Oh, it's called Slam.
That was like a big doc, right?
No, it's like a movie.
But it's a movie. But it was okay. But
He's like in jail, and then he gets out and becomes a poem man.
Oh shit!
Poeman.
I mean, okay, maybe I should watch this. This seems great.
Maybe I don't know if it's good or not. I just saw it. The director of it periodically directed episodes of Law and Order as well. So definitely well-rounded career. I feel like I'm completely disassociating because I'm so drenched right now. I'm so gone.
You should could you measure it? Like, is there a way? Like, could you put a sponge on yourself and then squeeze? Like, I want to, like after rain where you left a cup out and you're like, oh, it was X number of millimeters.
Because I've had allergies too, so I've got some Kleenex here. I'm gonna put a Kleenex across my lower. Well, I just leaned back in my chair. What part of my torso would you like this Kleenex on?
I think like it just right in between your pecs.
Okay.
Because I don't know about you, but that's I started sweating out of a new place today. My legs, like my fucking my calves, like in the front of the calves. I don't know what my shins.
My leg elbows are really, really drenched.
Oh yeah, right, that's always been wet for me. But the idea of like literally like the meat of my fucking leg was wet, and that was new to me. Everywhere else on me has sweat before.
This is just like gently dabbing my cleavage area.
Yeah.
With a fresh Kleenex. I've just sent you a picture.
Oh wow.
It's very.
It looks a lot
destroyed.
Yeah, that thing's damp, man.
Oh. Now I'm rubbing Kleenex all over my back.
I have a towel.
Oh, that's what I should do.
But I'll be honest, I'm starting to be able to smell myself, which is like a real low point in the day.
I do have a cum rag here still. I could use a cum rag, I guess.
You should. Also,
I think it's the last one.
You should sell all of this material. Like we have a fairly substantial listenership, and there's no way there's not one person that would want to buy your sweaty rags.
Hey, isn't the guy from Gaslight Anthem named Brian Fallon?
Yeah.
Is that from a sketch or something? I'm Brian Fallon.
I don't know.
Is that from Mad TV? Anyways, he has a song called 21 Days. I just searched it. So
shit.
Listen to that.
So we can listen to that now, later?
Do you have... It's playing. Do you have...
Oh, no. Okay, here it is.
To fall in love.
This is a guy... You like this guy?
It's not hard
Listen.
to get lost.
Is this your thing?
Down this river.
This sounds so Christian.
Yeah.
I miss you more
I've never heard this.
in the morning
It's good.
There was a time when I loved Gaslight Anthem,
over coffee.
and it has not aged well for me.
So what... This was before gaslighting was a thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
why did they call it? Why is it called that? Did they invent gaslighting?
I think they did. I also think like every single thing that Gaslight Anthem did was sort of really... Oh, shit, sorry. I skipped ahead.
That's no problem.
Was like very indelicately sort of designed to remind you that they were like doing old shit. Like all of their songs were like typewriters, and so I think like Gaslight is like, oh, I get it. It's not Electric Light.
Why does he sound so much like The National? Is that where all the money is if you make music for white people?
I think like
You need to just like, eventually you have to just sound like The National.
I mean, every like person that liked Gaslight Anthem turned into a national dad, like regardless of gender. And so I think
true.
it sort of makes sense that you would follow your audience and be like, and no, I'm singing like this. God, The National, do you not like The National? Like,
I don't know if I don't like them.
they got a couple of big tunes, my man.
They really do, but
They really do.
they seem so much like they seem like a roving gang of sommeliers.
I think they are.
Why are they not performing with a little white towel over their forearms while they...
You know that LCD Sound System literally has a sommelier on stage with them, like when they play now, right?
Really?
Yeah. Once they reunited, I think like James Murphy was just like, listen,
God.
if I'm going to do this again, A, I want to get paid, and that worked out, and B, I want to enjoy myself, and so they have a sommelier on stage.
LCD Sound System coming back is like instantly made me completely forget that I ever liked any of their songs. And I hate them.
I love them so much. I'm so glad that they came back because I didn't like them when they were around. I was like annoyed by people liking things.
I have destroyed this cum rag with liquid from my body. Okay, there's a horror movie called there's a horror movie called 21 Days as well. We can watch the trailer for that.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, there's a napkin popping up here. That's
Gravitas Ventures.
That's relatable.
Futura, good font.
Stay away from it
Why?
because it's haunted. Paranormal activity in the house.
It's funny when you can't tell if they're trying to do UGC or not because it looks so shitty.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're trying to do like a real no budget paranormal activity thing, but it looks quite bad.
Yes.
Before abandoning the house, the two previous homeowners covered all the mirrors. What
Damn,
was
you
the-
wrecked that cum rag, eh?
Reality shows they stay in a haunted house for a night. We're gonna stay in this house for 20
There, that's how you can tell because that guy's acting is so bad that...
Yeah, it's literally just
It's not a
paranormal
dog.
activity.
Damn, imagine staying in a house for 21 days.
It's called quarantine, baby.
What's the significance of 21 days? Oh, here we go. JamesClear.com. I've still got Slack open from
just
work.
say 3 weeks, though. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, is there a term like fortnight, but for 21
A tri-night.
days? You think?
No, I don't know. It's probably not
Because
tri-night.
fort doesn't mean 20.
Yeah.
Fortnight comes from 14 nights. So 20. So it would be like a twand night.
the classic phrase that we all know and love.
According to JamesClear.com,
Oh.
how long does it actually take to form a new habit backed by science?
I have to guess that the answer is going to be 21 days.
Well, Maxwell Maltz was a plastic... I just, like, seriously... have not dreaded an episode as much as this one for like in years because I'm so hot. I'm just like want to die right now. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry for how much I'm not wanting to be here right now.
But the great news is that you're generating tons of sellable products. So
true.
In your misery, you are still sort of turning the wheels of capitalism, greased by the sweat from your slick body.
It's so slippery right now. I feel like a dolphin right now.
What's your like bottom situation? Like, are you in shorts, or are you just literally?
I am in
your
shorts.
underoos?
No, because I don't want to get like slug trails on the office chair, but it's already coming from my back. But I don't know.
Can you believe how few lyrics there are in this song for how fucking long it is, though?
Yeah, it's very long. Well, anyways, I'm trying to read JamesClear.com.
Sorry,
Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon in the 1950s when he began noticing a strange pattern among his patients. When Dr. Maltz would perform an operation, like a nose job, for example, he found that it would take the patient about 21 days to get used to seeing their new face. Similarly, when a patient had an arm or a leg amputated, Maxwell Maltz noticed that the patient would sense a phantom limb for about 21 days before adjusting to the new situation. Continued, Maltz published these quotes in a book. Okay, the quote is, "These and many other commonly observed phenomena tend to show that it requires a minimum of 21 days for an old mental image to dissolve and create a new one to gel." And this was published in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, which seems like some Scientology kind of shit.
What kind of 1800s ass doctor is Maxwell Maltz where they're like, I do nose jobs and limb amputations? Like, what the fuck Nazi doctor is this guy?
Thank you for doing a John Mulaney voice for your 1950s doctor. There could be no other way to do it, really.
Just a great voice. Just a great voice.
Imagine how fucked up nose jobs must have looked like in the 1950s.
Like, when he says nose job, is he simply referring to removing the nose?
Like just tying it to the door handle and then slamming the door?
Yeah, just like, oh, there we go.
So do you think Tom knew about this 1950s cybernetic nose job?
Doesn't it seem like Tom would have read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz? Yes. Limb surgeon and nose and rhinoplasty king of the 1950s?
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense that if it's about a breakup and then you're like, damn, this feels like getting a mid-century modern nose job is how painful this is. But I know if I just wait 21 days, then I'll no longer have a phantom nose going on.
Wow. What are some of the reviews on this like? So one of the most important and renowned authors in the field of psychology. Oh, okay. So wait, he was a psychologist doing nose jobs and amputations. I'm troubled by this.
Well, it's kind of no. I mean, he's a doctor, right? I feel like anyone who has a doctorate should be allowed to do whatever they want, really.
I think that's fair.
In my opinion.
Let's see.
What, are you going to cancel me for my opinion?
Here's a 1-star review. The text is poorly sourced and relies heavily on generalizations. Tough one, Maltz. I don't know.
So do you think it takes 21 days to form a new habit or break one? I mean, I just feel like as someone who is nearing 35 and has not developed in any way since I was 14 years old, I feel like that's 21 years.
I know. So like, have you ever, like, what are the habits that you have? And have you ever succeeded in making or breaking a habit? I feel like I have not.
I think that when I have a bad habit and get rid of it, I just like transfer it into something else. Like when I quit drinking, I just like started posting like unbelievably more.
Right. Did you not post as much when you were drinking?
No, I mean I would do like a couple posts a day, but it's not like now. It's just like absolutely detrimental to my health,
right? Yeah,
and of myself and those around me.
Yeah, I guess because it's like no quieting your brain. And so you have to just sort of like leak your brain out into the world, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then like the pod also is like a some sort of habitual addiction that is definitely...
the pod, yeah.
But I don't think that I've ever been like, yes, 21 days later, and I'm much better now.
But that's the thing is like even like with like trying to make a good habit, like exercise. Like, it doesn't matter if you like, I'm going to go to the gym and you do it like every day or 3 times a week or whatever for 6 months, and then I always feel like 1 week where you're like too busy, then and then it's gone forever.
Yeah,
like this is
exactly.
it's all made up. Like no habit is real, except for the bad shit, except for like smoking, drinking. That's it. All the good stuff.
What about none habits?
That's good.
Please, everyone, please stop listening to the podcast so we can sit by our air conditioners.
Maybe it would be for the best if this was the last episode.
I think is this loud? Can you hear the fan? Oh my god, that feels so good.
Did you turn it on? I had thought about being like, should we just have our fans on? Because like, how else are we?
Oh my god. It feels so good. Now the sweat is getting cold, and it feels like I'm kind of like a slippery eel.
What a
I'm
treat.
leaving it on.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it on.
Honestly, no one listens. Like, wait, can I turn on my fan?
Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's just do it.
Okay.
Oh,
1 second.
this feels incredible.
Okay, I'm not gonna put it on like the highest setting.
Oh my god.
Can you hear
How
that?
was I living like this before?
Oh, there it is. The whole pod. I can't imagine how it sounds into the microphones. The entire pod is gonna be like,
I need to take a picture of my raisiny hands.
yeah. Tweet hands. Show hands.
My hands look like this so that your pod
Can
sound like this. Really bad. really
Yeah.
awful.
Not a good sacrifice. And so, is this a song that you were familiar with prior to this episode?
Hold up, which song?
I'm of course referring.
What are we talking about?
I'm referring to 21 Days by Brian Fallon.
Brian Fallon.
Oh my god, the fan feels incredible.
I know, honestly, I can't believe how good this feels.
I'm like, yeah, all the sweat turned into cool. The body is amazing. I once
body.
When I worked at a camp, summer camp, we had a camper who I don't know
Whose
what
body was amazing.
There's an amazing body on this camper. No, they couldn't. Their body didn't sweat, and so they like literally always had to carry around. And I was like, of course,
They had to carry around a what?
they had to carry around a spray bottle and constantly spray themselves down because like it is an incredibly crucial part of regulating your body.
Is that like a thing? Is that like a thing that a condition?
Yeah. So
Where you can't sweat?
yeah. No. I like which at the time I was like I would give anything to like
To not sweat?
to not sweat because I was a teen and like my shirts were always sweat right through and like I'd sweat through my fucking pants because my ass was sweaty. And I'm the same
but
now, but I just like
what's
don't
with-
give a
I'm-
shit about what anyone. Well, I care what people think of
Exactly.
me. Who am I kidding? But
Yeah, but at the same time, like, come on.
you just find the right shirts.
Let me sweat.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I don't really care that much. I don't care enough about to really be concerned with it, even though I should be. But if there's like food in my teeth, I don't really give a fuck. Like,
Wow, brave.
Sarah will be like, "Oh, there's something in your teeth," and then we'll go out, and she'll be like, "Why didn't you get the thing out of your teeth?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Who cares? Fuck everyone."
Huh. So there are two. I don't know which, but there's two. There's hypohidrosis, which is absent sweating, and anhidrosis, which is no sweating. And this, of course, can be actually a deadly.
Did those
disorder
people
because-
pant like dogs?
Yeah, they just sweat in different ways. So yeah, you gotta find a way to keep your body cool because it's like what you and I are experiencing right now, the sort of sweet relief of air on our slick bodies, would not be a sensation enjoyed by someone with hypohidrosis. I'm so glad to be bringing this to light.
It does feel like the pod should have ended, and now we're in purgatory, and now every episode is going to be like this.
I mean, it doesn't help that it's this fucking song, of which it seems like there's not.
Well, we should probably at least figure out like what's the song, what is it, what's it from? So it's from Buddha, I
Okay,
guess.
so we did
Was
it.
it on? Is it on Cheshire Cat too?
We should probably
No one
figure out
knows.
what the deal with the song is. Like, all right. No, because this was just a Buddha song, right? Like, even if you're listening to the song on YouTube, it's only on the Kung Fu Records. Like, this is a song that I think Blink wisely knew is like better let the fan is so loud. Better kind of left in this era
Yeah,
because it doesn't carry over, right?
yeah. I mean, it's still pretty good. That's how bad that episode is. I mean, it's like a song that shouldn't exist, but it's still pretty good.
I mean, yeah, like it, but it has that like it has again that like
It's the kind of nuance that you've come
cacophony,
to.
old emo thing. Like it's interesting to hear these Blink songs that seemingly draw on like very recognizable influences that are otherwise like totally absent from the band's subsequent songs.
Yeah. I mean, I think also
You know how much fucking effort it took to get that sentence out? Like it's
like when you're a little kid writing music, though, you do have songs that have like a Bush X feeling to them.
every
And
good
then-
song has a Bush X feeling to it. I think that's official.
It is kind of weird, like how I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going.
But I think
with
ultimately,
this.
here's the thing, right? Like when you're younger, like unless you have like, you know, cool parents, cool sibling, cool cousin, whoever, and the formative records in your life are like just sick, chances are that like you discover music like through the radio, through MTV, and so like even when you like find a cool thing, you might only know like 10 good songs and 200 Bush X songs. And so I think it makes sense that like early on some of those influences like inevitably are gonna come out. Like I've been really thinking a lot about Matthew Good for the last 24 hours as a result.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, so you posted something from Exclaim that was like, you know, a list of kind of can rock tattoos, which included a very lifelike Matthew Good piece of portraiture.
Is Matthew Good the Canadian Bush X? That's an interesting.
No.
You don't think?
No.
Is that like maybe a Conaline Crush?
No, Conaline Crush was the Canadian Nine Inch Nails, and they are back, by the way.
I know they're back. They've got quite an incredible new band photo.
Yeah. I don't know what meant like because I
feel like you're being pretty disrespectful towards Bush X, which I'm finding a little bit upsetting.
I mean,
Bush
listen,
X is better than Nirvana.
Well, right, but like I love
100%.
Bush, but like Bush was just British Nirvana. And so I don't know that like Matt Good gets to be, and also like a very cool and handsome man, but like let's be honest, no Gavin Rossdale, because who amongst us is?
It's true.
But like, you know, I think about that. So anyway, so you posted this you know, Matthew Good tattoo, which led to some amusing tete-a-tete between you and Ashley on Twitter. But then I was like looking up photos of Matthew Good band, like just the most impossibly 90s looking, like, you know, everyone is in a bowling shirt and it's a fisheye lens photo, like a bowling Hawaiian shirt combo somehow, like just like a parody of the 90s, like so fucking perfect. But ultimately, like if I think about like what is the music that I've listened to the most, it's probably that, right? And so when you go to write a song, that's going to leak out. And so maybe at this point in Blink's career, they were just huge Bush X fans. I like insisting on calling them Bush X as well.
Well, I don't want to get sued.
No, we got to regionalize things.
Is that why it happened? Why did? I'm trying to think what Bush would have even been around when this happened. I mean, they hadn't even released Razor Blades. 16 Stone. I mean, there you go.
Oh.
That's it. 16 Stone by Bush is like the ultimate emo record.
It really is. Has there been like a critical reevaluation of Bush the way that there was this critical reevaluation of like Third Eye Blind?
I don't think so. And also, I mean, I gotta say, shout out to Ivan. Ivan and I are both obsessed with Gavin Rossdale and Gwen Stefani's son, Kingston. Kingston Rossdale.
That's cool.
He's like, Kingston Rossdale is so cool. I don't know. There was this one day where like the whole world was falling apart, and then it was like Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were wishing Kingston Rossdale a happy birthday, and there was like the most hilarious picture, and so we've become obsessed with him. His Instagram is incredible. He plays in a punk band, and he like wears Sex Pistols shirts, and he's always like on his stories talking about how he's bummed that people only like him because of his parents and stuff.
Aww.
It's like, oh, it's so sick.
Do you want to reply and you're like, I like you for you, 10-year-old boy?
This is actually the wrong account. I can't find his official account. That's a fan page. He's more of a teen now. He's more of an angsty teen.
Okay, so I was like, sorry. Do you also follow this? Do you follow this Kingston Rossdale fan account?
No, I don't.
You should.
But yeah, he's a punker.
Damn.
Maybe we should get Kingston on the pod, actually.
Yeah, and you should emphasize that you like him for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. I do really think his dad is cool as hell, but
I got to interview Gavin
I can
Rossdale
pretend.
once, and it was like very tight. I was like,
Really?
Yeah.
Was it in person?
Yeah, it was in person. We used to do this this feature that I honestly still think is very good for Ox back in the day, called Band in a Box, and it was just like commentary track. And so like we'd shoot the band, like we're just talking about the production of their video. And there's like 200 versions of these now, but I will say there weren't at the time. And so it was like a fun little series because like it was something different for artists. And so you just like put a laptop in front of them, have them watch the video, and just commentary track, and then they just be picture in picture. And so we did that for like I guess a newer Bush song, and like for a guy that was incredibly famous and kind of is less famous now, they were opening for Nickelback. We did it on their bus outside of the Air Canada Centre, and he was like super funny, very gracious, exceedingly kind, which I think is like those are your options when you're that famous, is you can either just be a dick or you can take 2 seconds and be nice to people and ensure that when they talk about you on their Blink-182 podcast, they have nothing but good things to say. But he was like, he was like genuinely kind.
Oh my God! Look at this photo of him. He looks like a Trump. He's like, this is his July 4th.
Wait, is this Kingston or Gavin?
This is Gavin. I can't
Oh,
find Kingston's
shit.
official ad. This is so good. I
Holy
got these.
fuck. Imagine
Something-
being this hot. Like, just fucking imagine. It's fucked that you would say he looks like a Trump. He looks like this is what the Trumps think they look like.
Exactly, but like, look at that. Like, he's in
Holy
front of this
fuck.
American background.
It looks like something from like a
this.
David Cronenberg movie. Like there's something like
Yeah,
it's got.
definitely.
I think it also looks like Jeremy Irons, and I recently rewatched Dead Ringers, and so like it's giving.
He kind of
me-
has like a bit of a, in general, like a little bit of a. There's a Max Headroom feeling to it.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. There's like a uncanny valley, like talking head energy. Dude, holy shit! What is this photo from? Like, like I want to watch and experience this moment forever. This is old, obviously, right?
I don't know. He just posted it on July 4th.
Yeah, but that just seems like maybe you got something in your back pocket. He doesn't look that. God, he doesn't. He is still really good looking. Imagine if your jaw looked like that.
Anyways, what are we talking about?
The start with the
Where
song,
am I?
21 Days by the band Blink-182.
21 days. Da-na-na.
We did slam poetry. We talked about the lyrics. Did you find it? Did you actually find anything out about this song?
Yeah, it's on Buddha by Blink-182.
Okay, that seems cool.
People love it. So somebody like on Reddit, everyone's saying that this is the best Blink-182 song, because I think they say that about every
Yeah, you can definitely
song.
find that. Anytime you need content for an episode, you're always like, there's a bunch of people here who think it's the best song. Like,
I know, and it's just delightful. Fills up the hours, and everyone loves our podcast. 5-star reviews, baby, all across the board.
yeah, the classic tale.
This person says, I'm currently in talks about purchasing the holy grail of Blinkdom, 21 Days live video. I've been speaking with an old Blink fan from Cali who saw them in 94 at a house party and says he has a VHS of 21 Days. Says it's as epic as you could imagine as they close their set with it that night. I will keep you guys updated. He wants a pretty penny for it. And apparently refuses to upload to YouTube for fear of ruining the tape. Wish me luck.
What the fuck?
What kind of fucking... Also, he says if you watch the VHS, you will instantly die. But it's worth it.
Like the Ring style?
I think so, yeah. No, but that is truly what it says here, is that if he uploads it to YouTube, it'll wreck, maybe, is what he seems to think.
I love the idea that like old school live bootleg culture is still around, because Ashley used to be like a bit of a bootlegger, and there's like a bunch of boxes of like tapes and VHSs still in our house that there's like I think some debate as to whether or not they are worth keeping, and she's even said like I'm sure all this is on YouTube now, except it sounds like maybe it's not, and maybe we should hoard these things and find Redditors to sell them to.
Yeah, what did she bootleg?
All her stuff was like, she was like Nirvana tape trading and stuff.
Whoa,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I know. It's like one of those things where you're like, damn, that's what you were doing when you were fucking 10. And I was like, I love Jurassic Park, you know? So
Yeah.
marry up if you can.
Something kind of related. They don't play it here, but this was uploaded very recently, and it's a full set of Blink-182 playing at Soma in 1994. So I guess we could. That's kind of on topic.
Yeah, that's
it's the same era.
That seems cool.
And this is Scott was not in the band at this point, so they have a different drummer named Mike Kroll.
Nick Kroll?
Mike Kroll.
Bobby Bottle Service is the drummer? I mean, good God, look at this fucking video.
It's also the only recording of them playing Fentuzler live somewhere. But I don't even remember how that song goes.
Look at this drummer. Yeah, all you can really hear is like bleedy-doo-doo-doo-doo. A lot of high-edge bass tone coming through in this video.
Yeah, this drummer is like just such a like fucking just a guy, you know? It's like
Wow.
there's no way they would have gone anywhere with this guy.
No, this is not it, Chief.
He's just like, I'm trying to find info about this drummer guy, and there's like no info anywhere.
What did we? I don't remember this at all. That Scott wasn't in the band for a while?
I think we maybe heard that once. I don't know.
Is this like?
Imagine like wanting to know about Blink-182.
It's a sickness.
Oh yeah, Fentuzler has that little. Hey!
Is this Fentuzler?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this drummer is like slow though. He's lagging.
Yeah, for 1994, that's like glacial. That's like doom speeds. I don't like it. But you're totally right. People fucking... So the top comment on one of the like illegal YouTube uploads is, yeah, one of the best Blink songs and rejected by themselves. The most underrated Blink song, a lost masterpiece. And then the reply is, Blink are very guilty of self-sabotage. This person's doing some armchair psychology here. Mark rejecting Not Now to be on Untitled, bringing in Feldman, Own Studio rejecting Man Overboard, bonus songs being better than a lot of songs on the standard albums, infighting that led to Neighborhoods being delayed in only one song where they are actually in the studio together for that album, not having a wide variety of songs being played live, and so on. Blink are my favorite band, but man, do they like to spit on themselves.
Yeah, actually, it's really a thing that people are upset about, that they won't acknowledge the existence of 21 Days. Somebody on Reddit 3 months ago pointed out these old videos of Tom DeLonge showing off his guitar pedals, and they found at the 10-minute 47 mark, he briefly plays the riff from 21 Days, which is the only time he's acknowledged the song's existence at all.
Where did Mark rank it in his bracket?
Oh, it wasn't on the bracket because it didn't have every song.
Oh.
It's a really old Blink song. For those of you, like on our first record, but that's the first time I ever used a flange.
Wow, he acknowledged it.
That's great.
I feel so validated.
But isn't it interesting that he still like knew how to play it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
For a song that was not, I mean, obviously they played it live, but not a live staple, not anything that carried over. And this is, 20 years later to just be like, oh yeah, here's how this riff goes. Like, I mean, I'm all incredibly dumb, but like I can't play shit that I wrote 2 weeks ago.
I know, like I always come up with a cool riff, and then I'm like, hell yes, I gotta remember this riff. This is gonna be a song, and then I don't like record it or do anything, and then I instantly forget it. That's what happens to me.
Sorry, I could not hear.
Ivan has come through.
Kingston
Ivan has
Boston.
come through with the official Kingston page. Look at that fucking drip.
This is crazy. I somehow I don't have any. No one that I follows this account. I gotta send this to Ashley real quick because I don't know that she knows. 1 second. Did you know Gavin and Gwen's kid drips? It's like Liam Gallagher's kid, right? The model.
Yeah, and so his band is called Sex. It's either Sex Ed or Sext. I can't really tell. But I wonder, do they have? I don't know if they have recordings.
Yeah, it's sex. I think it's supposed to be sex ed, but it's also very little coy here. Imagine being in a band with Gavin Rossdale and Gwen Stefani's son. Like, you're also just a teen, but you're normal. I guess they probably don't.
Well, if you're also a teen,
friends.
you probably don't know who they are. You would just know her as the lady from is it The Voice?
But I think that makes her quite famous.
That's true, famous, but you don't realize it's sort of the alternative clout that you're dealing with.
Ah, right. The musical heritage perhaps escapes you.
Yeah, okay, I'm getting an update from Ivan, because Ivan, I think, follows Sex Ed, who are private on Instagram, but they haven't released any recorded material yet. It's coming soon on streaming services, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Can't wait to hear.
That's something to look forward to, for sure.
Kingston Rossdale's band, Sex Ed.
Something about that, just really, the way you keep repeating it just sounds like a person's name, like a nickname, Oh, and this is, this is Righteous Dave, and then this is Sex Ed. Oh, God damn.
Sex Ed is a really good nickname.
Sex Ed is a great name. I gotta find. I got no friends named Edward. You?
I mean, it's my middle name.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna have a friend named Edward starting next week, hopefully.
Huh?
But anyways, Tom playing the riff,
Oh.
he acknowledged that it exists.
Cool.
That's a thing that has happened.
That's huge. And wait, and what are the comments like though? Are people finally fucking thank God?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, let's see.
Tom's guitar tones too.
21 Days has long been my go-to when I begin a Blink listening session. The written session with quotation marks. People are mostly saying that they just miss the days of watching Mod Life videos. Everyone just has nostalgia for everything at all times.
It's a sickness. I refuse.
It's
to
awful.
engage.
I hate nostalgia. We've talked about this before. I hate it. Okay, well, look. Can we just fucking keep this shit moving now? We've done an hour of bullshitting. Can we talk about covers finally?
Oh, that's true. Okay, hold on. Any other good... okay, I have no other good comments on the YouTube. Let's see. Maybe this is going to be the episode where I make it last a really long time. I want to see how wet you can get.
Well, now that the fan is on, actually, I do feel some relief.
I'm honestly not. Sort of having the fan on though makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong. Like I'm supposed to be miserable, and I'm kind of just having a good time now.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
That's not right.
Oh, I know. We can read the comments on songmeanings.com because we still haven't really figured out what it meant.
Yes, that's good.
So let's do that
And
because
because it's a song about trying not to fall in love, but I want to know how people have related to that.
Fen 2 Zler in 2009 wrote, "This is probably one of my favorite old Blinks." This is how I read every Blink-182 comment, is in that voice.
That's the voice that they write it in.
Like a kid who won't share his Nintendo with you that you're visiting after school. Like a really spoiled, mean kid that you hang out with for some reason because your parents need you just to go somewhere before they can pick you up.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite old Blink songs. I had a girlfriend for a year and a half, and to be honest, this song was pretty much how I felt when things just didn't make sense and she confused the hell out of me. Honestly, I would do so much for this girl, and she'd always be flirting with other guys, being shady, and then try and tell me all the derogatory statements I would say to her, and that offended her. It's really amazing how similar Tom and Mark feel about girls as I do. They love them and can't help how girls affect it. So all of that was one sentence.
This
that whole
person
thing
has
I just said.
absolutely tried to commit some sort of mass act of violence.
Meanwhile, they love them and can't help how girls affect them. Meanwhile, they hate them and girls are just such a fucking drag, complaining and all this bullshit they feed you. Fuck with your head. This is not to all girls, just I guess the ones I keep getting involved with, which sucks. Anyways, I'll post up some more thoughts on Blink-182. They're one of my favorite bands. Tom and Mark absolutely nail every lyric in most of their songs when you're a high school kid. So it's kind of... Now there's some expertise on the subject.
Yeah,
right
that person has experienced some shit. Hold on. I kind of want to figure, what does this sentence mean? Honestly, I would do so much for this girl, and so this person is being friend zoned, and she'd always be flirting with other guys. I'm a nice guy. Being shady, and then tell me all the derogatory statements I would say to her and that offended her. It's really amazing how similar. So
I think they're saying she was flirting with other guys, so then he would say really derogatory things to her, and then she would say them back to him that they were offensive to her. Which I think is, probably pretty fair.
The wind in the mic. It's just like it's like when you talk to someone who's like walking down the street on a windy day.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, just look at a thing like. I mean, I'm sure mine sounds the exact same. You're getting. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
Sweet relief.
Oh, hell yeah. A few more good comments on here from the year 2002. Uploaded from diet_punk. Blink-182 is not emo. They are, and this is written in title case, diet, caffeine-free, diluted punk rock.
Ooh.
That's right, boys and girls. They are not really punk, simply a diet version of it. If you want to listen to punk, all caps, check out Millencolin, NoFX, Unwritten Law, Dropkick Moofies. Bands like that. But to this song, it is a, all caps, masterpiece. I love this song. It has helped me through some tough times of a broken heart. Atari's Blue Skies Broken Hearts, next 12 exits.
Oh, great record.
Rena, that same day, actually, same year and same day, wrote, Blink-182 are total shit. There's no such thing as true punk nowadays, boys and girls. Punk died back in the 70s/80s. You want punk? Think Sex Pistols or the Ramones. All you hear today is capitalism.
Ooh, I hate to hear capitalism.
But then, Diet Punk has bounced back. If you scroll down a little bit, you can read this one. The Rena response to Rena.
Oh, I'm already on a different page here.
Okay, well, Diet Punk says, Rena, how many of us were alive in 77 when the punk revolution hit? And punk has changed. Joey Ramone is dead, making the Ramones dead. Sid Vicious is dead, but Sex Pistols still going. Misfits, talk about ownage. Man, they rock. I like New Misfits better, though. I'm not down with Danzig and his satanic ways. That guy was crazy. But Blink rules, even though they are watered-down diet caffeine-free punk, they are still awesome. It's really the spirit of the pod in this comment.
Here's a really long comment from Jessica as the debate about what is real punk rages on 6 more pages of songmeanings.com. First of all, I know 100,000 more real punk bands than NoFX, and Millencolin are ska-core. They mostly do ska or have a ska sound, and that band is Dropkick Murphys. Huh? Okay. And that you ever, and this is my thoughts on, these are my thoughts on emo, and I'll post once again. Emo doesn't exist. The term was coined by Thrasher magazine to describe embrace, but if you're going to call music that, let it be one of these bands and not Dashboard Confessional. The bands like Rites of Spring, Moss Icon, Navio Forge, Sunny Day Real Estate, Still Life, and I'm not putting Fugazi here for a reason. Fugazi isn't emo. I used to consider them, but then I thought and used some brains and figured out that they sound more like Gang of Four and are more influenced by Ted fucking Nugent than Moss Icon, even though they do contain half Rites of Spring. Think there's something more than emo, though, and they don't really sound like any of the other bands in the genre. But yeah, classifying them as emo isn't a crime. I just think they aren't emo. But I don't think any of you would know the bands I listed. Jessica coming in and just fucking schooling everybody.
Insomniac X86X replies, Blink sucks and all the bands that Jessica listed are pretty good. Fugazi is great. Rites of Spring are great. Sunny Day Real Estate are good. Do you like Failure, Sonic Youth, or the Pixies? You sound like you know your shit when it comes to music. So a little bit of nagging, but a little bit of like trying to get, I think Insomniac 86 is trying to make his move here.
Yeah, it's true. I do appreciate that the argument seemed to die out, and as a result, the final comment on page 6 is just, I like the Dude Ranch Blink-182 better. And gotta say, Colossal, inclined to agree with you.
Inclined to agree, absolutely. Wow. We gotta go to song meetings more often.
I learned so much about emo. We gotta check out some of those bands.
Is that actually a thing? Like, because I know there's, we had some pushback from our emo episode. There's obviously a great emo war happening around the world at all times, sort of a cold war of emo. Is that Thrasher thing actually true?
Mm-hmm. There's no way to find out. It's just, we've left that episode behind.
It's true. But yeah, apparently that is kind of 1986 Thrasher contained perhaps the first print appearance of the term emo core. Wow. That's interesting. 1986, when I was only 1 year old.
Damn.
Maybe I'm not so old after all.
You got so much life left in you. Think of all the genres you could invent.
Think of all the chairs I can soil with my sweat.
Think of all the small things.
What else do you want to talk about?
Chair afterwards.
What else do you want to talk about? You lead the way.
Oh, I actually feel like we've covered it now, and I'm actually ready for covers.
Yeah, we needed just to get the community response, which is that A, this is the best Blink-182 song of all time, and B, Blink-182 is not a punk band. Google the Sex Pistols is kind of the two.
True.
And Kingston Rossdale agrees. He's often spotted wearing a Nevermind the Bollocks t-shirt because he's such a true punker.
Trying to fly the flag and let you posers know.
Exactly.
I also think the sort of like instantaneous relief of the fan turning on has now just turned to the fan moving hot air around.
Yeah,
and so as a result, I'm less like, let's just stay here forever, and I'm like, let's mosey towards the conclusion.
We do have to come back also very soon, so that's the other
exactly.
aspect of it.
Yeah. Let's we got to fuel up again, put new wetness on our bodies, and then proceed into the
actually
dark
before we do that, I do want to, because the first, we're not going to, there's no Nightcore version of this. People have not respected this with Nightcore, but someone who did cover it is someone called Sugar Pill Covers, who does tons of Blink-182 content on YouTube, and I thought 21 Days, 21 Guns, Broadway Idiot, all this free association did pop up when I searched it. So this is by Sugar Pill Covers. It's what if Blink-182 wrote Green Day's American Idiot.
Oh.
Kind of a fun exercise to keep your brain active.
What would it sound like?
I mean, who knows? Maybe this intro will end at one point. There we go.
I like this.
This part. The pitch of the voice sounds so fucked. So that's what it would sound like if Blink-182 had written American Idiot and also the singer was still Billy Joe Armstrong.
Right.
And if Blink-182 was like very techy.
Yeah, it's like if 4 Years Strong were covering Blink-182's American Idiot, featuring guest vocals for Billy Joe Armstrong.
That were kind of recorded in a different key and transposed through computer. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool exercise.
I liked it.
Yeah, I kind of did too. There's tons of those on that channel, actually. Maybe we'll have to do a Sugar Pill exclusive one day because we're trapped in this prison forever.
I'm ready to be sugar pilled.
So let's keep it in the pop punk zone. This is a cover of the song by the one and only Future Idiots. They've done a version of this song. A song that I don't really remember.
Gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country. Gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country. Eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country.
Keep going.
Eat a lot of peaches. Peaches come again. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
This part is more Creed sounding.
Oh yeah.
The singing. Wow. It sounds like Butch Axe actually. Why don't I just like put on Creed sometimes?
Oh,
Why don't I just like listen to Human Clay during work tomorrow?
There's a couple of like big Creed bangers. Like if you put on one and just let
They're
that
all
loop
good.
all day.
With Arms Wide Open,
Oh.
such a sick song.
Yeah.
So
My Own
good.
Prison is a fucking great song.
So good.
You know,
Creed
said, oh.
rock.
How's he doing? Is he okay? Because like things were desperate there for a minute.
I think he's doing better. I think he's doing pretty good.
It's really inspiring how many kind of like Ashley has responded. She did know that Gavin and Gwen's kid drips. So
Look at Scott Stapp's Wikipedia image. It's like all nipple.
shit. Man has powerful nips.
Free the nipple.
Free Scott Stabb's nipple at least.
I don't know. I think he's doing pretty good.
But you know what I mean? Like people who have these like, fairly public, meltdowns and then are sort of able to demonstrate that like, we all have our ups and downs, Hopefully he's
Yeah.
back up.
Po Buddy's nerfect.
Yeah,
is what I'd
exactly.
say.
Yeah, a lot of legal and personal problems in this personal life.
It's a long. I think it's cool to have a long Wikipedia. You don't want your personal life section to just be like boring and short, or like trying to hide the fact that your parents were in the CIA and that's why you're in the music industry.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is by Aaron Singh. It's from 2011. And I love this kid's energy, but he has too much energy that I think he can't hear the backing track and is playing like twice the speed of it.
He's trying to make up for Nick Kroll's slovenly performance at Soma.
Exactly. Get to the point, though, guys. Like, I mean, even the amount of times we've said that these early Blink songs sound like Creed, like we've just run out of things to say, but we have to keep potting.
Have we said that before?
Oh yeah, many times. He's not playing yet, Aaron. He's just letting the intro play out.
Oh, it's just. I mean, listen. Why mess with perfection?
Here we go. It's kind of just like playing to his own speed. I like it.
Just stoked.
But every once in a while, he still like hits the right chord.
Yeah.
Even though,
I love his headphones. Like,
yeah, they're cool.
I don't know what it's like a very 80s, but it looks like he has two Apple Watches on his ears.
I also like that he appears to have like a half-drank like cup of prune juice on his shelf, and he's like a teen boy.
Look at teens be prunes.
You can never start becoming regular too early. I think.
I think a lot of teens don't realize the benefit of bowel health.
But honestly, this kid has so much like swagger. Like he's concentrating, but also seems like he doesn't give a fuck
Yeah, he's
what
just
we
sort of
think.
looking around the room.
He's got a Green Day poster above his prune juice shelf.
Yeah. Everyone's got a prune juice shelf in their house.
Is that true?
I mean, where do you
Maybe.
put your PJ?
Okay, so that was a little kid playing Too Fast. I know this is a very old person, Paul Brody. I mean, this man's got to be late 30s, I think.
This guy is definitely younger than us.
You think?
Yeah.
This is uploaded this year.
This is an Alkaline Trio riff as an intro here.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Is that even allowed?
I don't think so. Someone should issue a DCMA takedown notice.
It says 25 views since March.
Well, I'm here to appreciate. Thank you, wizened one.
My mind wanders as I'm trying not to fall in love with
You think this guy's younger than us? He just has the glasses and beard of someone who like.
I was joking, but this dude is like 28. You know, like, That's what makes me feel old now, is when you're watching a movie and someone's like, I'm 35, and you're like, that's not what I look like. We watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that's how, like, I feel like maybe Jack Nicholson's like 36 or something. And you're like, but he's so old. Couldn't be me.
Just disgustingly ancient.
Yeah.
Not us, though, because I'm a skateboarder now, and it's inspiring.
You are going to stay young forever. But yeah, he's got the sweet, like, t-shirt with the, like, long sleeve under it.
Yeah, it's an MXPX t-shirt, too. And he's on the leather couch. He has a... what's the thing called in front of the microphone that I'm supposed to get? A pop screen?
I have no idea.
He's actually wearing the exact outfit of, like, Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. Like that tube, too.
It's true. The colors. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how sick you literally having a fan both of us having fans blasting into our mics is, and how enthusiastic it would make some, I think, former members of the nation.
I know. I'm going to bring it closer.
Ooh, baby. I hope that sound cools people down, you know? Still going to be hot out tomorrow.
Bringing my thing over has affected somehow changed my audio setup on my computer. Like, it's cutting out now.
Oh, no.
Incredible.
Oh, no.
Did I just, like, electrocute myself? Oh, I know what happened. I unplugged my speaker. One second. There we go. There it is. I don't know. Doesn't this man seem too old to be playing this weird song? Like, why did anyone cover this song? There's more too. So this was that guy that did it.
Well, because people love it. People think this is the best Blink song.
And it is. Don't get me wrong. It is. This is Tiago Contieri, Blink-182 acoustic sessions, covering this song.
Yeah. 14 to 21 days, it says in the video. So they're sort of hedging. They're not expecting you to last the full 3 weeks. But everything good? I feel like the fan got quieter.
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here, baby.
Just worried that you had to turn it off.
Oh no, the fan's going strong. Oh, right on my tongue. This is too clean of a recording. Like, if I was Blink-182, I also would refuse to acknowledge that this song existed.
But this sounds nice to me. I think it's a good old school emo intro with just nowhere to go.
Or this sounds like the score of like a Duplass Brothers like bigger budget sellout movie. Like like they're playing that in the background while Jason Segel is like getting ready for work or something.
Yeah, honestly I buy that.
But then now there's like everyone keeps adding like the stanky pop punk voice to this and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think you just gotta play this one straight.
Oh, stupid games. All right, Tiago, thank you for that one. Helping us check it off the list. This is an acoustastic cover. He holds up the CD at the start. I do love this guy a lot. He's really cool. This is Yeenar, Yeenar, uploaded this in 2012.
I can see an old school poster in the back, the classic Will Ferrell.
And Biggie, and that like really wide Michael Jordan poster.
Oh yeah. This Wingspan, iconic
This guy
poster.
Plays guitar in that clumsy way that only like early 20s boys can do, where it's like I love his like open mouth, vacant stare
It's
when he's not
incredible.
singing.
It's such a like he looks like someone who should be cast in a oh my god, Safdie Brothers movie.
Yeah, totally.
Like he's an incidental character, you know?
Or like a Freaks and Geeks. He's very 70s looking boy.
Yeah. This person should have had an arc on Freaks and Geeks for sure.
It's like Bill's cousin or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
great.
one. That one's really good. I think this next one is maybe very uncomfortable. This was done in a hotel room. I think it's pretty recent too. Toxic Earth is the user. This is from 2018. Hotel room jams with shitty echo. Haha. Enjoy. What kind of hotel room is this with that funky painting though?
Yeah, that's not a hotel painting. It's too funky.
It's way too funky.
No, what is this, like the Funk Hotel?
It's definitely like a hotel called like the Arts Stay or something.
Yeah, except that the walls are white and it should have a funkier, like, I'm seeing 3 white walls, and so, like, that's not right.
My mind wanders as I'm trying not to fall in love with you.
He's kind of singing it in a different key. Interesting interpretation.
Yeah. That's
Another person who like probably way younger than us, but seems too old to be singing this song.
What I said.
But again, it sort of makes sense because, like, if you're going to have a relationship with the song, you have to be fairly old.
It's true. This is a classic rock song at this point.
Games as I always end up chasing you.
There's some other sounds going on in this video.
I thought that was you. I thought you were like, like
What are these?
It's not gonna work.
that is.
Oh, cool video. So he's wearing a To the Stars t-shirt as well. So you know he's a true head.
Hell yeah.
Okay, one more acoustic one. This is somebody named Johnny Blaze
Sorry,
Butt.
one more acoustic one. Like, we're going through phases on this song.
Yeah, we are. Johnny Blaze Butt is who this is. Shirtless man. Very...
Yeah, I'm gonna take this motherfucker back to 1992 with that Blink-182 shit when they were fucking good. Like, they were good through, like, the early and mid-90s and shit. Like, I know the state was so cool and stuff, and things kind of started to go downhill, man. But this is one from way fucking back.
The intro.
Shit. Also,
This man-
people need to know that there was a hard cut, jump cut from him being like way fucking back to then him starting the song. There was 2 seconds where he was just staring dead-eyed at the camera, and it was fucking unsettling.
And he has like sort of like skunk punk hair, like he's like an extra from a
Two-tone
Good
hair?
Charlotte video.
Yeah.
And is that a bouncing
Like
soul
his chest
tattoo?
I don't know.
My mind wanders. My mind wanders. Yeah, that's better. My mind
See, it's weird because this video has
wanders as
editing.
I'm trying not to fall in love with
I think he's trying to like.
oh.
Well, he said, "I'm a real dude. I didn't bother practicing or editing to make it sound better. You get the real me. I'm capturing random jams on tape for the hell of it."
But there is a cut.
There is a maybe he was like hoping we wouldn't notice that one cut, but it was just too uncomfortable.
Yeah. The riff does sound a lot like Radio by Alkaline Trio now that that one guy has opened up my mind to it.
How do you like become like an adult man who just like dresses like so Good Charlotte, like, but you're so old? Like, it's just kind of
I
amazing.
mean, maybe this guy is like the bass player in Good Charlotte. Is there like
What like aesthetic choices do you make in your life that you end up? And mostly his channel now is like all Fortnite videos. Like, there's a video of him playing with Fortnite action figures in a dollhouse. Like, it's become fully.
I think these people only exist in LA or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like when you are in those cities, you're like, oh, this is where those people come from. Let's see. I can't figure out who Johnny Blaze is because it turns out that's the name of Ghost Rider. So it's hard to.
Well, here's a punk rock version of "Hold My Liquor" by Kanye West by Johnny Blaze.
That's gonna be good.
I can hold my liquor. This man can handle me. Dark and lonely now.
Amazing.
Fuck yes.
I'm glad that Johnny Blaze recognizes that Yeezus is a sick album.
Is Yeezus your favorite Kanye?
I don't know. It's definitely not My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think that one's a little bit overrated.
I feel like it's fairly rated, but good to have a contrarian take.
I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
He's done tons of punk rock Kanye covers.
I mean, I hope they're all this good.
The drums are so fucked.
Yeah. Like he's only programmed kick drum and snare.
But he's like programmed it after not playing to a click track. And also whatever's in the foreground of this video, like some saran wrap or something, is the only thing in focus.
It's very artistic looking.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Wow. I was creeped out by him at first, but now I love him.
Turns out we're a couple of Blaze heads.
Big time. I love Johnny Blaze butt.
Big time butt blazers over here.
Okay, this is a full band cover of the song uploaded by a band called Teenage Kids with a Z. Teenage Kids. The floral artwork makes me automatically like it better. It looks like that New Order album cover.
Yeah. Do you think that if Blink had better aesthetics, like they would be a more popular band?
Like more cool?
Yeah.
I think so. Whoa!
Okay.
Still a bit too much of a punk voice. I think it needs a meek voice.
What I said.
It sounds pretty sick though.
This is honestly quite sick.
Okay, I gotta play this same band because of that voice that we heard. Same band doing this song. Pretty sick.
Oh, okay. This was a Spider-Man joint, right?
Yeah. A pop punk version? I don't even recognize it.
I was like, I definitely only know the chorus. Okay.
This sounds like Rise Against.
Fuck, this is good.
So I guess we were right to like hear the butt rock vibes in the song, because the same person that covered it covered "Hero" by Nickelback.
Yeah, the butt is strong in this one.
The butt is strong. All right, this is the final cover. I don't know if we're gonna make it through the whole thing. This is an 8-minute dubstep remix made in Fruity Loops Studio 9.
Oh, Studio 9 is a great era for Fruity Loops. It fucking rules that like the number one. I mean, I know people who use fucking other stuff, but like really, that the number one software for programming beats is called Fruity Loops.
It's true. I mean, I usually feel like when I hear that someone famous has used Fruity Loops, it's usually presented in like a "can you believe it" kind of way. So I feel like it's not that popular, is it?
They all hold on.
So apparently this is the song. I love that somebody took this song and turned it into an 8-minute. This just sounds like Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah, it's true. Where's the drop? Do I have to wait till like the 7th minute for the drop? Listen, here are some
Maybe.
people who use FL Studio. Ninth Wonder. Boy Wonder.
Anyone with Wonder in their name.
Yeah. Lex Luger. Martin Garrix. Metro Boomin. Mike Will made it.
Okay. All right.
Soulja Boy.
You're right. You're right.
Wonder Girl on the Wonder tip.
I think Young Chop did too.
Yeah. Tyler, the creator.
I love that the art for this single is like a newer photo of Blink-182 with Tom, but they're like, it's a silhouette and they're in front of this like nasty tribal tattoo looking logo.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
It's crazy that Tribal has never, like, Tribal is just too far gone to come back as, like, part of the 90s sort of renaissance.
I know.
It's seemingly, like, beyond reappropriate.
I think it could happen because I do see things like Echo and FUBU. People wear stuff like that again. So maybe the Tribe will come back, but maybe it's too self-awarely silly to truly work.
Yeah.
So should we skip ahead, or you want to listen to all 8 minutes of this?
Okay, let's skip ahead. Let's see how it ends.
Even on the comments of this remix, people are fighting about Travis versus Scott. Oh, get to the point. I mean, is that dubstep? Hard to say.
Sure. Who are we to gatekeep dubstep?
Well,
Josiah, what are your final
thoughts? It's time for me to admit that I am Burial, so that's why.
Let's just get it out there.
My final thoughts are that I was really miserable, and then I turned on the fan, and I feel so much better, and I'm like, I could have just had a normal time. So maybe that's just the thing, is like, it's all about like balance and self-care, and just like letting yourself, maybe the audio quality that you've become known for will be impeded by the sound of a fan, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta just do you a little bit. So I appreciate all of you for letting me turn my fan on, and I feel so much better.
And my final thought is that, Josiah, it's a very important anniversary today.
What is it? 21 days till the end of the month?
No, it is, and I didn't realize this, and it's our mistake for not acknowledging it off the top. Happy 10 years in, and we bone like we're cheating on each other with each other tweet day.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so of course, when you're listening to this, it will be the day after. So a belated happy
Boxing Day.
Boxing owns my dick tweet day. So, happy, although when I click on it, the top, because I guess you see people who you follow who've replied to these tweets. So the top reply to this, of course, legendary Kevin Smith tweet is you last year on July 8th. So the day prior to the anniversary of this tweet, going, "Oh my God, one more sleep."
Okay, you know what else it is? Actually, I just looked. The day this comes out, the 10th. We are 3 days away from. And it's crazy because this is our final episode, and we're 3 days away from our 3-year anniversary of the pod.
Jesus Christ. Well, time to go dive into my fan. Welcome, Drew Fairservice of Birds All Day, the creator, the only person who has ever talked about the Blue Jays on a podcast. Drew, it is a pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I of course, have to give full credit to the co-host, Andrew Stoughton, who
Yes.
without whom I would be nothing, all reliable himself. But thank you. I'm so excited to be on.
This is exciting because I feel like I'm like in the computer now, because I've been listening to Birds All Day and Getting Blanked, Drunk Jays Fans. These have been mainstays of my podcast diet since I started listening to podcasts, so much so that I've used the phrase podcast diet and now have to take a long walk off a short pier, and I apologize to everyone. How long have you been doing baseball podcasting?
Baseball podcasting, I believe I started in about 2011. So I was actually thinking about it the other day. I've made at least 500 podcast episodes in my life. We've been doing this as Birds All Day since 2015. We started at the beginning of the 2015 season, and at the Score where we worked before, where I joined Drunk Jays Fans, which was an existing thing, that a property that they brought in with Stoughton and Dustin Parks, and then Getting Blanked, as you mentioned, where we used to do it 4 days a week on YouTube and then a podcast on the Fridays. So yeah, I've done at least 500 baseball podcasts of my own. In all the years since 2011, which is makes me feel very old now.
Yeah, sorry about that. But do you have any advice? Because as mentioned, before we started, we're on this is 157, and I literally feel like I've been doing this my entire life. And you're describing almost a decade and several hundred additional podcasts. What keeps you, tuned in? What keeps you excited and moving forward?
Well, I'm very lucky in that everything I do is basically for an audience of one, right? I just do things that I want to hear and I like, and I feel like I've kind of carved out a space. We were joking off the air about taking something that has wide appeal and like narrowing it down to something that's very unappealing, and which is not true. But I'm lucky because we found an audience and people who value what we do, and then I think we've always tried to bring a different sort of perspective to, rather than just kind of yammering sports talk and like garbage takes and just saying silly reactionary things. We've always tried to be a little bit more, just a little bit different. And sometimes it gets us in trouble because people want us to be taking bigger stands and to be coming out with like hotter takes, because that's sort of just the expectation with sports sometimes, to be sort of just kind of sticking your pole or drawing a line in the sand and being like, after this, I'm done with it, whatever. But so that's, baseball. Number one, the other thing I guess I've overlooked is the fact that the advantage of baseball is they play every day.
Right. Yeah. It's an evolving medium, really.
Yeah. So I've done 500 episodes, but the Blue Jays, the team that I ostensibly cover, in that 9 or 10 years have played probably close to 2,000 games. Right. So maybe a few less, but like at least 1,500 games. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and think about all the different players that have come in and worn the uniform and just all the stuff that's happened. There's no lack of things to talk about, especially when you're trying to come at it from a slightly more, just from your own perspective, perspective that I value, that I have been lucky to have folks who value that perspective as well.
I'm actually no longer impressed now, because it feels like if you were going to do this properly, you should have to do a podcast for every single Jays game. Like it's got to become, Birds All Day 2013. And really, I think you could be trying a little bit harder. If the Blink-155 model could maybe work for you.
Well, so since there has been no baseball, no sports since March, the Remember Some Guys model has become the thing that everybody in sports is doing. And I was desperate. I would love, maybe love is a strong word, but to do like a deep dive on one season. And not like a fun season. We could do, the 2015 Blue Jays that were obviously very successful and made the playoffs for the first time in more than 20 years. But I'm like, let's do a deep dive on the 2008 Blue Jays.
Yeah.
A team that was like decent, but not good enough, and like had some interesting weirdos on the team. And so that could be fun. But that's it. The other thing also, that sounds like a lot more work. You guys put a lot of work into this show, researching and getting into the wilds, into the ends of the internet.
Yeah.
Where I'm just kind of like, watch Blue Jays games for a while, go on a few different websites, kind of, use Twitter, which is not the habit that I'm already in, and then just kind of show up and we're like, let's go. What are we talking about? And it works so far, unless you're paying me, and I do lots of work.
Right. If someone from The Athletic is listening right now, it's important to note that it's quite a lot of effort that goes into each one of your pristine episodes.
The run sheet is like a work of art. Like it's just an absolute intricate piece of broadcasting history, each and every one.
We have never done a run sheet, and I've now done a few podcasts where people have sent me the run sheet, and I'm like, what is this remarkably professional document? But I'm never gonna attempt to bring that into Blink-155 because it would be a fucking nightmare. And then we're going to talk about cum, and then we're going to talk about cum again.
Ours are 25 words at most. It's like bullet points, like a player's name, and then be like, so, comma, news of the day, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's all you need. So I want to give some context because there are definitely people who listen to this podcast who are not necessarily baseball fans, let alone Jays fans. And so I think I said this to you, maybe at some point when we've met a handful of times, IRL, always very exciting for me. And Drunk Jays fans was just like really exciting. Oh, shit. Did I just lose you?
So you went away, and then there were like weird Skype-ish
bloops and bleeps,
like radar ping noises, and then you came back, and I heard you again, and then I did not hear you.
Okay,
then you went away.
I think this is it. So I feel good about this connection.
Cool. So where I lost you, you had just said like I think I said it to you, and then it went. Then I lost.
I was in the middle of sort of complimenting you.
Oh well.
Yeah. So get ready.
That.
Get ready.
Okay.
But sure. I think, when I was younger, super into the Jays, like everyone fell out of it because you're like baseball and all sports are for jocks, and they are not me because I'm cool and punk. And then I think I had a friend who like was into Drunk Jays fans and kind of recommended it as a blog, and then eventually discovered the podcast. And it was like, oh, not everyone who likes sports is a hot take dickhead. Here are these guys. And then from time to time, because I didn't know you or Stoughton or Dustin Parks, but like you would reference punk bands. And it was like, oh shit, you can like punk bands? You can do a podcast about baseball and then talk about like punk and hardcore? Blew my fucking mind. And was like a huge part of me getting kind of back into baseball as like a sort of mature adult that understood that two things can be true at the same time. And then, and this is the thing, this actually came up organically this week on an episode, is that I was at the Sky Dome to interview Scott Radinsky for a music website that I was working for at the time, and you were there, and you saw us talking to Scott Radinsky, and you came over and you were like, you guys talking to Scott Radinsky? We were like, yeah, we're cool. And then after you left, we're like, yo, that's sick. That's Drew from Burns All Day or whatever, whatever it was at the time. And so I feel like the essence of our like friendship that at least extends, beyond me listening to your podcast is Scott Radinsky is like literally at this intersection of punk and baseball, which is this like really seemingly, I think, unique relationship.
It is odd that I found early on, before even I was podcasting, I was writing a blog, as many folks do. And it was one of those things where you sort of would run it up the flagpole. You make a reference or you drop a link or you talk about, you're writing in a post and you're like, oh, this band's got a new record out. You should check it out. And then you realize that there is overlap. And it's not, anything that is populated by baseball fandom and punk rock, punk and hardcore. You've got a lot of middle class white guys from the suburbs. Like there's a lot of interconnection there, but it was definitely something that's like definitely has kind of I've found over the years and forged different kinds of relationships. I'm always joking about there's like a small corner of baseball Twitter called Cave-In Baseball Twitter, and it's like the dozen people who like really like Cave-In and also are part of baseball Twitter, where we kind of retreat to our corners and talk about Cave-In, and people talk about whatever their favorite Cave-In record is or something like that. But that day at the Rogers Center was amazing because I think about this in code switching all the time. I think I'm really fascinated by the concept of code switching, and as an example, I feel like Saves the Day they're so good at code switching where they can just show up like once a year and play a hardcore show and have it just be like 40 minutes of non-stop stage dives, and they play old songs, and it's just sort of like everybody gets it. So when I was at the Rogers Center, I had like switched to baseball man mode. Right. So I'm like, that's Scott Radinsky. I would talk to him about baseball. I would talk to him about reliever usage or whatever the fuck. And then when you were talking to him about, like, I was like, those are punk rock guys talking to him about punk rock stuff. I was like, oh, you can do that? Because I was jealous. I was like straight up jealous. I wish all I wanted to do would be like, hey man, that first 10-yard fight record's real good, But I would instead have been trying to pretend like that's not what I wanted to talk about. I have to pretend like I'm a serious baseball reporter, even though every single person there knew that's not what, or if they knew who I was, which they didn't, knew that I wasn't like regular baseball guy. So Yeah, it kind of goes back to what we talked about before. We're sort of, I like the things that I like, and I've never tried to like shy away from that in talking about the other things I like, which are baseball. So it's worked out pretty well. I can't complain.
It's interesting to think about code switching in that context, because I feel like my only understanding of that is in what is typically, I guess, a more like racialized context. Like it's like Key and Peele sketches, which like almost exclusively seem to sort of deal with the humor in sort of that notion. But I guess it does make sense that like if you sort of inhabit these worlds, no matter what they are, that are sort of seemingly in a superficial way in opposition to each other, that is like a line that you have to walk, or where you have to kind of figure out which side of it you're going to be on at any given time.
Yeah, because there are those who may seek to like exploit the I don't know, credibility or the previous world as they try to step into another one. As bands get bigger and they start to move on to play for different audiences, they may kind of forsake that, or you'll see them sort of play the quote unquote like last hardcore show. So a band that's about to take a step, like I'll use like No Warning from Toronto as an example, where it's like they played a show and it's like this is going to be like their last hardcore show for a while, because now they're going to be in a bit of a different.
They're going to be a new metal band now.
They're good, and I mean then they're just like, let's just shoot our shot, which I don't begrudge them, and people like those records, but they've since been able to come back. And I think that Ben Cook, I know he's been on this show, where again I don't mean to run him down or anything like that, but I mean he performs and plays a certain way when he's in Young Gov, and he performs and plays in a certain way when he's in No Warning, and I think they're all accurate reflections of who he is. He's not like pretending to be any of those things, but it's like when you're in No Warning mode, you are dressing kind of a certain way and playing a certain way. When you're in the other way, when you're playing in another band, you're playing for a different audience, you're kind of just being playing up a different part of your persona. And then the same thing extends to baseball. I mean, the thing about baseball players, there are always someone like me and someone like you. When there's the one guy on the one team that listens to hardcore, listens to metal, or like him to be a guy that listens to good bands, you like go like beeline and like let's talk about this, because most baseball players and professional athletes, they had other stuff to do when they were 17 and 18. They were not going to shows and kind of discovering music like they are. They were being a professional athlete for no money, essentially, as they're being ground through that sort of amateur sports ringer. But I don't know, it's been fun. And Mark Trumbo is a guy, by the way, I'm talking about, who listens to like good bands, and was like,
sick.
He listens to good records. It's the weirdest thing to be in a clubhouse when there's like naked guys and just like these enormous, they're so big, and you're talking to him about like some new record, and he's like, oh yeah, I really like that, and he's like always talking about playing the guitar and stuff. Anyway, cool dude, really cool guy. I mean,
it's funny how much you glom onto that, though, where you're like, this person seems like they're almost a little like me. My brain is short-circuiting, and I blame the heat. Jay's Outfielder and his walkout song was Holy Diver. Fuck. And then he played over. Did he play in Korea for a couple of years? And then he played
Eric Thames.
Yeah, Eric Thames.
So Eric Thames, I spoke to, interviewed him a few times. Eric Thames is a great, super easy guy to cheer for. Great personality, huge guy, big muscles, tattoos and beard, hits home runs, does all that stuff. He listens to decent music. So I have taken up a mission on Instagram. So he doesn't follow me on Instagram. I've interviewed him a few times, but I'm just like any random guy. So all the time, I'm just like, not all the time, but sporadically, I DM him a message that he's never read to like, Eric, you got to listen to Power Trip. Eric, you got to listen to Knock Loose. Like trying to get him to use those songs as his walk-up songs, because he's there. He just needs a little bit of a nudge, just a little nudge, because it's cool. He listens to Slayer. He listens to like I don't know, other bands in that sort of very metally, big kind of stadium flames shooting off the stage world, which is awesome. Little nudge, there he is. He's at This Is Hardcore listening to Knock Loose, and I'm happy.
He's so close. Like, can you imagine just his walkout song becomes Dead Ringer or something? Like, it would be quite sick.
Swing of the Axe, or the Executioner's Axe by Power Trip, is like the ultimate walk-up song. It's built for it. Come on. It's right there.
I'm glad you're sliding into Eric Thames' DMs to try to influence these key elements of his performance.
Well, because who else does he have to do it?
That's it. I mean, that's it. If not you, who?
If not me, then who?
You're just really stepping in it. So, for you growing up, were you a jock? Were you a punk? Were you a hardcore kid? Like, what was the sort of? Because we all had a very defined box at a certain point in our lives. And so, where were you kind of coming from in all this?
I was never good enough at sports to be a jock, but I was also, too into other stuff to be like I played basketball, and I played baseball my whole life. I still play basketball and baseball to this day. But I remember being on the high school basketball team and like having the guys on my team make fun of me because I had long hair. Or I was like, we should put this like some ridiculous punk rock song as our warm up song. You know, when we're doing layup lines and shooting elbow jumpers in the 90s in high school. And the guys on my team are like, what on earth is this? This isn't going to pump anybody up before the game. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, who doesn't like Pennywise? What's wrong with you? You know, like that sort of thing. So I will say that there's a perfect distillation of my kind of walking that line, which is I missed a show that I regret. I don't know if I regret it to this day. Lifetime and Good Riddance were playing downstairs at the Elmo, and I didn't go because I had been called up to play on the rep baseball team. The only game I ever played of rep baseball in my entire life was the night of a Good Riddance and Lifetime show. And I was bummed that I missed it, but I would not have missed out pulling on the green and gold of Newmarket.
Proud day.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, have you since seen a reunited Lifetime? Because I imagine that tragedy potentially compounds, because I don't know sort of what the exact timeline of this is, but Lifetime might have broken up fairly shortly after the incident that you're describing.
They did. So I saw them get back together when they put out the record, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. That was where I believe my one of my kids had just been born or was just about to be born, and I had thought to myself, like, this was it. If I don't go to any more hardcore shows anymore, I will be happy. Because that was just perfect. The set was perfect, and they wrote those new songs, and the new songs were really good, and I just had a ton of my life. And of course, I ended up continuing to go to shows, not as often as I once did, but I did see them then. So that might have been 2008.
Was that the Cathedral show?
Yes.
Fuck, that show was just like that. That was one of the best shows I've ever been to in my life. I mean, you're not wrong in your assessment.
So I did get to see them, thankfully, and I didn't get to play any more rep baseball, unfortunately.
So there you go. It turns out maybe you made the right decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so was Blink part of your, since I've already used the term podcast diet, was Blink part of your, punk diet then at this stage in your life? Or what was your relationship like with this band?
So some of my best friends in the world today were in a band called Notoriety, and they were from Bradford, which is just north of Newmarket, which is just north of Toronto. And so these guys were guys that I sort of got to know from punk rock. The story of how I met those guys was I worked at Baskin Robbins in the mall, and I saw these. They were like guys
Henry
wearing
Rollins.
I was like Henry Rollins. Yeah, but these guys are walking in the mall, and they were wearing like punk band shirts that I would be wearing underneath my golf shirt that says Baskin Robbins on the side. And anyway, we struck up a conversation, and I started to get to know those guys. And it was the early days of their band, and they covered Carousel couple times live with another friend of ours, who's a guy who's still our friend, would sing, and they would play Carousel just because it got people in Bradford excited. And that was my first introduction to Blink, but it was it was early on, and then Dude Ranch came out maybe the following summer, and I was like, yo, this record's great. So I was really into it, and I saw them at Warped Tour the year when they played in Southern Ontario. It was in London at the Western Fairgrounds, and I was really excited to watch Blink in those days, and they were absolutely part of it. And I mean, when I was in college, I remember coming home, taking the bus home to go to a Blink show at the Warehouse on a Friday night, where it was just cresting, you know what I mean?
I can't even imagine seeing them in that room. That must have been fucking great.
So they played. So again, it was right as things were kind of heading over not over the cliff, but the trajectory was about to take off, because Damn It had caught on, and they had this little, I'll never forget this. There was this little ditty that they played before they played it, and it was we've been at this for however many years, and if you only know this song, fuck you, this we're for real. And then they played it, and I was like, that's funny that they're taking this kind of resentful approach to that song that eventually, like I said, the trajectory took off, and then they blew up and blew up and blew up and blew up, and have become the subject of a 157 episode opus podcast.
It's true.
But,
this is the true, I think, crown jewel, like of all of their achievements. This is the thing that they'll point to when they retire and say, "We did
the measure
that."
of success.
Yeah.
The measure of success. When they were teenagers in like San Diego or whatever, they thought, let's start a band because maybe one day middle-aged Canadian men will talk about us for hours on that.
True. They will dedicate their lives to our lives, and what greater compliment is there? You know.
You could do worse. You could absolutely do worse.
So was Carousel like a real, because, full disclosure, you and I talked about having you on the Carousel episode, and then Josiah got someone else on, and then I was like, sorry, man. And then 2 years later, now you're on the show. So was Carousel like a full like teenage anthem for you too?
I just really liked it. It was just a lot of fun, and like the sing along was really cool. And seeing it in that environment for the first time, as covered by like a band that again, they were a hardcore band, but they played Carousel because people liked it, and my friend Eric is singing it, and all these like little kids are flying all over the place. I'm like, this is awesome. I got to check this song out. I checked it out, and I'm like, that song's cool. This band's good. And then I still listen to Dude Ranch. That's so. I'm bad for the first record I hear of a band is often my favorite record that I hear of a band. So Dude Ranch is the one for me that I go back to, that I will put it on and be like, hell yeah.
I mean, it is the one. You're just right. I don't know that you can necessarily blame your sort of immediacy bias.
There are some huge tunes on that record, like there's no disputing it. And I was, so when it came out, I was like, fuck, you're right, this band's onto something. And I was into it, and there we go.
Turns out you were right. So you called it. You were like, this band's going to go places, and now here we are, podcasting.
That again, it was all within that vision. I was on my vision board. I heard that record. I'm like, this song, I thought Josie would be the one though, but I was like, that's the one that's going to take place.
I also can't help but think, like, if there was a video of a teenage hardcore band in Bradford playing Carousel with kids just like losing their mind and stage diving, that's the kind of content that like we would spend 15 minutes salivating over, like watching on this podcast, and be like, there's the fucking cool, oh man, being young is so sick. Like everything about that is like the energy that I think like at its best, that's what this band captures, If
someone is out there and they have video from a show in, I don't know, 1996 at the Portuguese Cultural Center in Bradford, playing on the floor, not even on the stage, I would pay good money to watch that because it was so much fun.
I'll throw $5 in there because I just like also all those words, like a show on the floor at the Portuguese Culture Center, like be still my beating heart. Come on. And so have you ever run into any baseball players who maybe were Blink fans? Like, I don't know if anyone's ever I've never Googled this, so maybe there is someone who used Blink as their walk-up music, but in your sort of time hanging out with these incredibly huge naked men, has anyone ever been like, I actually think the Dumpweed is a pretty sick song?
I don't know that Blink has been the one. I think it's inevitable that there was crossover at some point. When they're at their height, definitely somebody used it as their walk-up song. I'm trying to think, like, who. The thing is that, like, for example, the guys in the band may have been like aged out. Like they're not as in the players who are of their era are not playing baseball anymore. Baseball is
honestly quite rude, but also, yeah, you're extremely right.
So there's definitely an opportunity. Well, I mean, Travis Barker is really famous, so there's probably somebody who's like a famous enough baseball player who's like, yeah, I'm cool with that guy. I've kicked it with those guys before, but I don't know offhand. Again, the guys that listen to metal or the guys that listen to I mean, it's tough. You got baseball is a very regional thing. Almost every baseball player is from California, Arizona, Texas, or Florida. Maybe some Georgia thrown in. And so there's a lot of good old boys going on there. There's a lot of like bro country that you hear in the walk-up songs. So if you ask, the Blink-182's footprint is large enough that I would be very surprised if a baseball player, although now they're also young, maybe they don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that Blink-182 has unfortunately passed by like literally every active player in baseball, I think, at this point. I regret to say. Now, have you developed in then sort of having to spend sort of so much time at baseball games in a professional setting, have you developed any sort of affinity for the bro country sound that personally I think is quite delightful?
No, but I do like the reggaeton the Dominican guys and guys from different countries in the Caribbean or in Latin America, Venezuelan players. That stuff I get behind. It's like, it's not unlike a lot of hardcore songs. Like, it's ignorant and loud and big and stupid, but that's like the appeal. And I get that. But the bro country it's not for me.
It's a little too much. Just like from time to time, I just want to play a Florida Georgia Line song real loud in my truck that I don't own. But it's the fantasy of it, I
mean, it almost, those of us who listen to pop punk should not be talking about anything being cynical or being like surgical precision in terms of the songwriting, like Max Martin, but with a red MAGA hat or something like that. But that's a bit of the turnoff for me, where it's very much like created by robots. That's the sense I get.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they have that shit down to a science. It's like meticulously engineered. But I guess in a lot of ways that's similar to like, that's the John Feldman production style that we get to enjoy on new Blink-182 material,
Do we enjoy it?
I'll tell you this. I do not. I don't know. Have you like dipped into new Blink? Like, what is, are you kind of good?
I have dipped into New Blink because another thing that you and I have bonded over, which is, of course, Matt Skiba. And we used to have way back in the early days of Twitter. Luckily, I deleted all my old tweets, so you won't find any of mine. But we were like, Matt Skiba Monday was a thing where we would just like pick a good Skiba song and like share it out on Twitter in like 2009 when people would do that sort of stuff. But so I was like excited. I was excited for Matt Skiba to join Blink-182, and there are parts of some of the songs that I really like, and I'm like, there's some really good like Skiba vibes coming here. But then other parts, it's like, oh, it just has that Feldman like big like just that imprint is too hard to ignore, and that sameness of some of the songs where I'm like, let it rip, Like, I know Skiba's he's had to change his vocal styles and things, but I mean, Alkaline Trio still writing big songs, so maybe just bring that hooky sense over. So I did listen to what's that record called, California?
Yeah.
I listened to it a bit. I didn't ignore it. It's not like some of the bands where the releases just sort of like roll past me. I was like, no, I'm going to dig in a little bit and spend some time with this. But I can't pretend like I didn't like the most recent. What's it called? There's this thing, whatever. The most recent Alkaline Trio record I like more than the most recent Blink.
Well, that's the thing, is it sort of sucks when you is this thing cursed? Like, is
this thing cursed? Yeah.
If you listen to the new, and then they did that like kind of 2-song, whatever, 3-song kind of thing as a surprise, I think middle of quarantine in my mind. Like, who knows how time fucking works anymore? But like, he's still got it. Like, you listen to that and you're like, Matt Skiba can still write a song. He can sing the shit out of it. And then in Blink, he's just there doing like the most kind of like, again, I think to describe sort of that Feldman production style is just incredibly flat and feels quite accurate, I think.
Well, maybe it's my own baggage, but it's like, I want the Skiba, like, oh, here comes the key change after the bridge.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Those key changes. Fuck.
But I feel like what's his name? Like Dan Adriano, the other guy from Alkaline Trio, was like, no, you can't. That's not allowed. Those go on the Alkaline Trio records. You can do what
right,
you want with Blink.
Keep that secret.
Don't be giving away the store.
Maybe it's contractual. Like it's considered a conflict of interest. Like, he can't. He has a non-solicit on key changes. It seems possible. That's right. The Skiba thing is, it's so good to have like a bounce, because Josiah doesn't appreciate Matt Skiba, and so very important, Drew, to have you here to defend, one of pop punk's finest, truly, in my mind.
Truly has written some of the best songs, like the best roll the windows down in the car and like scream to the point that you're scaring the neighbors. They're Alkaline Trio songs. For every record, you can pick one off every record. There's always an enormous, like, eternal banger on any Alkaline Trio record. And there are dance songs and there are Skiba songs, but yeah, I'll cape for Skiba any day.
Now, did you have, obviously we lost some baseball. Maybe we're going to lose all of it. Who knows what's going to happen by the end of the month? It seems like they all have it. The virus, of course. Did you lose any? So Alkaline Trio and Bad Religion was a show that was going to come to Toronto that obviously, those of us with Alkaline Trio tendencies were not able to attend. I didn't get to see Beach Slang. Now, you're in a little bit of a different situation. You have children. Maybe you're not able to go to shows, quite as often as you wanted. Did you lose any tickets or did you lose any shows? What did you miss out on?
I did. Which is funny because I am often shitty about buying tickets. Well, I'll wait because you never know. So sometimes, like for example, the Bronx and Bouncing Souls came through last summer, and that was one where I was like, there's no hope of me missing this, so I bought the ticket like right away. But the other times, like Knock Loose came on tour with Candy, and who else was on that show?
You got me into that Candy record, by the way. Oh my god, fucking god!
I love that Candy record. It's so good. I'm excited to see that full length on Relapse. It's gonna be huge. But so I didn't go to that show because I waited. I'm like, who likes Knock Loose? Oh, they're playing at the Phoenix. That'll be fine. And the show was like miles sold out. So Anxious was coming to town, and they're playing with Mil-Spec. And I was like, I'm going to that show no matter what. It was on a Saturday, so all the pieces kind of fell into place. So I bought tickets to Anxious, and it was on, I think, March 19th. And March 11th was like the Tom Hanks got it, Rudy Gobert got it, everything stopped. So that Anxious and Mil-Spec show got canceled at Sneaky D's, and I was disappointed because I had just gotten into that Anxious record. I really, really like it. And Mil-Spec is awesome. I really like what they're doing. I think what they do is like they've got a sound that is not, you don't hear it a lot. Like it's hard to pigeonhole. And I like that they're doing that. And I like that they're kind of a Toronto band, even though I think they're from all over. And the guitar player used to write for my old blog.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. Matt LaForge plays guitar, the left-handed, taller guy. Honest to God, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my entire life. And he's in Mil-Spec, and which isn't why I support them, but it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. And another proud baseball punk.
Absolutely. We played on I played on a softball team that was sponsored by Sneaky D's back in the day. Sneaky D's is like if you're from Toronto, like a quasi or I mean, it's a equivalent to like a punk rock hangout, even though it's not. It's for everybody, and like a late night place. And it was all like hardcore kids and like guys who put on shows, and we were terrible. We were the kid. Our team has got the guys in like Vans slip-ons and like cut off jean shorts, and we're playing against like actual athletes and getting killed playing slow pitch. But LaForge was on that team, and he was the anchor of the team.
I love how like D's. I haven't been in a minute because it's been closed, but they used to have like all the baseball teams that they sponsored, like the sort of little plaques up on the back, like on the walls and stuff. It's quite adorable.
Yeah, that there were little kids, and then there was our jersey. They sponsored us for 2 seasons, and it used to hang up up on the wall at Sneaky D's. I don't know if it still does. I wear it after I play my like old man baseball. I pull my Sneaky D's jersey on just to like wow the couple people who might get it. They'd be like, "Oh, Sneaky D's sponsors." I'm like, "Yeah, this is flex. This is a flex right here after baseball's over."
Yeah, we've been debating doing ordering for delivery the King's Crown, which is like this infamously sort of perfect pile of nachos that D sells, mostly to you when you're shit hammered at 4 a.m. But I'm really concerned about how it would travel. You know, like I'm not sure that like nachos is delivery food.
So what I have ordered Sneaky D's takeout before. Well, the nachos that I would get, I wouldn't get the King's Crown. I would get just cheese and black beans. Ooh. And I ordered those for takeout on Valentine's Day and brought them home to my wife.
Oh, and, what a romantic.
Oh, my God, the most romantic. It comes in a pizza box. But it was great. It worked. That worked because it was like on the way. I lived on Bathurst, like north of there. So it was like stop at Sneaky D's, grab it. Off I go. Mm-hmm. Hero that night.
That's honestly, if I did that, I suspect that I would like substantially improve my relationship with my wife. So this is great marital advice also. I appreciate that. You know, if you ever make it back, we one time accidentally were served the Light of the Valley or something, which is like a chicken-based nacho. Again, similarly kind of robust, but a little lighter than the King's Crown. It sounds like you're a pretty straight-ahead nacho guy, so I don't necessarily want to cause you to stray from the path, but a little bit of a sort of off-the-beaten-path recommendation.
I will denote that. I will file it. I am a Sneaky D's completist if I'm anything. So.
Oh, there you go. I'm glad to help you out here.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, thank you so much for taking time to come onto this podcast as we sort of very gently wind things down. This is obviously the sort of like, what do you have to promote part of any podcast. So obviously Twitter, Birds All Day, anything else that is, crucial for the people who are like, I need more of this man in my life.
No, I think you've pretty much summed it up. Number one, thank you so much. It's my pleasure. My pleasure to come on. I'm excited. I do talk about baseball a lot, so anytime I get an opportunity to say the words, I really like the new Anxious record out loud.
Into a mic, yeah.
Into a mic and not just into like one of my group chats. It feels good. So, but yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Drew Groff, Drew Grof, and you can listen to Birds All Day You don't have to be an Athletic subscriber to listen to it, so you can grab it wherever you listen to this. You can go over and subscribe over there. And also I do a newsletter sporadically when there's no baseball, but often when there is baseball. It's focused on Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And another pop punk reference, yeah.
This is called Vlad Religion. So you can sign up for that at Fairservice, my surname, fairservice.substack.com.
Amazing. Drew, thanks so much for coming, man.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.